Illuminati, secrets of the Federal Reserve, 9/11, military-industrial complex, and the New World Order.
Hey, welcome to Fear Porn Propaganda. I'm Wisecraft, and today I'm with.
Adon 2150.
So, how are you doing today, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself? What's going through your mind today, my friend?
Nothing much. I was just checking out other people's podcasts and stuff and seeing what's what and seeing what they're talking about.
Cool.
Talking about some interesting stuff. I wanted to get into dualism today, because we've talked about that offline in the past and we never really took it live.
Yeah, we have.
So, what's your take on dualism?
Let's see. I've been doing a lot of research lately on leading me to Hermeticism, which I think is pretty interesting because Hermeticism only really came around until the late Roman era. That's when classicism developed and people started looking back into the ancients or to the ancients for like philosophical knowledge. And a lot of legends have arose from that, suggesting that the ancients had another kind of knowledge greater than our own, a greater philosophical knowledge, and maybe even like technologies and stuff like that.
And how far does that go back?
What? Oh, like ancient
Hermeticism.
civilization? Oh, Hermeticism, the legend is that Hermetices Trismegistus is the oldest philosopher known to man. And he originated back in the ancient Egyptian era, which is about 4,000 years ago, about as old to the Romans as the Romans are to us at this time. And anyway, I think it's interesting to consider because a lot of philosophical argument has been kind of around Hermeticism's heretical connotation that it had to the ancient Roman, or not ancient Roman, the late Holy Roman, the Christian Romans, the sort of like the way that their philosophies were like more aligned toward Aristotle and things like that.
Okay.
But when you look into Hermeticism as like a philosophy into itself, and then you kind of do a little bit more digging, you find out that Hermes Trismegistus did come in at the later end of the Roman Empire, not in the early ancient times, which was what was originally believed. But the philosophy is actually quite beautiful if you think about it. It talks about like an all-inclusive oneness, and that being like
does that have to do with the source?
Oh yeah, it does kind of have to do with like the source of all reality, and it suggests that reality in itself does not exist in the physical plane as we know it, or any of the laws that we could possibly understand, like quantum physics or whatever it is. That there's another reality, purer and more real than anything we could experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's you and me and these discussions that are going around that lead us to what's it called, like holographic universe,
Right.
and stuff like that. If you have like a true reality that exists where everything is like not like in the sky or in outer space or something like that, but a completely inconceivable realm altogether.
Right.
Some of those philosophies do in fact lead back to duality, because it sort of suggests that we exist in one place end in another. You know what I mean? Like our physical bodies exist here in this realm, and then consciousness, or whatever we're part of, this spirit, as they call it, is from another realm. And that this was ancient knowledge. This is something that the ancients knew about. It's certainly an idea that's been floating around for thousands of years, at the least, to say the least, you know. And it all kind of leads back to dualism. I think a lot of philosophy has been formed around Hermeticism, but I think it has had a lot of competition from like other ideologies like capitalism and Christianity, Islam, Judaism. This like philosophy of like get as much power as you can for yourself, as much money, you know, control the women, and that whole reality that we have in today's society. And we see expressions of it all over the world.
Right, and we're supposed to be like advanced civilization at this point, and yet we still seem to kind of grasp onto older philosophies that are ancient ways of thinking, and not growing from those ways into kind of, I want to like say quotes, transcendence, into a kind of advanced being that doesn't war with each other, that has intellectual conversations, that doesn't have, that kind of gets into, still has emotion, but kind of doesn't let emotion control them, type of scenario. We should be at that level by now, but there's these old ideas that seem to keep us from grasping that transcendence, in a sense.
Yeah, it's that, like what you're saying is there's this belief that we can draw into our past. The further back in time we go, the greater and more true the information will be that we find. We know that's not reality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that they did in the Renaissance. Classicism is something that occurred in the Renaissance, where they were starting to look back into earlier philosophies of Plato and Hermes Trismegistus,
right,
and people like that, for knowledge and for like some sort of a sense of knowing where they came from, right?
And to break that down, Hermeticism is a hermit. We're talking about a hermit, and that goes back to like what, a hermit crab.
Oh, I don't know,
or
but
or being a hermit as a person is like not kind of communicating with people, more so being with yourself, more spiritual, more at one with yourself.
If you're
and getting a lot of knowledge.
Sealed, if you're hermetically sealed, you're like completely closed off to,
like you're living in a bubble.
It's like a bubble. So there are some problems with every philosophy that you come across. You're gonna find the holes, and that's kind of like what we're faced with.
And as far as dualism is concerned, there's always seems to be a half of one and half of the other kind of deal. Like if the good, the bad, or the evil, and non-evil, whatever, or that's essentially good, right? So then there's, welcome Haplo, good to see you. And then couldn't hear you.
Hello.
There we go. Okay.
Coming in.
Yeah, you're coming in. A little low. Let me turn you up a little bit. Okay, talk.
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is that there's this like transcendental object, which is the objective of the human race to attain. And then when we get to that point, we'll understand more of reality and find our place in nature. If there are aliens in the universe, we have to assume that some of them are more advanced than us and have abilities that we would be completely bewildered about, just as though we were some sort of, primitive race, like maybe a cockroach or something like that, in its attempt to become enlightened. But the unavoidable reality is that there is something leading us into the future. And what is that thing? It's like the spirit that experiences a dualistic nature of itself and then constantly expresses itself in this physical reality that we know, in the kind of like chaotic dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to consider.
Okay. Well, I was kind of, as you were going on about that, I was thinking about the yin yang perception, or um, uh, like Chinese philosophy, like where they have the, half, it's the same coin, but it's two sides
Mm-hmm.
kind of idea. It still represents dualism in a sense, right?
Yeah, but more of like a balanced approach.
Like a balanced approach of dualism, whereas monotheistic approach is not balanced.
It's very one-sided.
Yes. So
that way you start
Haplo,
seeing evil in other things. That's how Hermeticism became heretical.
we're talking about dualism today. Do you have anything to add on that? Your perspective?
Dualism is part of the Hegelian dialectic. I've seen the yin yang slapped right on top of a pentagram used in satanic ceremonies. You see it all over the place. You see the black and white checkered floor in Masonic temples. Rosicrucians use it. Black and white has been represented in old ancient worship of gods where they sacrifice their children to these gods. I can't say for me personally that I think, I don't think in a Hegelian dialectic type of thinking. I do believe there is one, all that creates evil, that creates peace, creator. That's it. The rest of it is created. Everything is worshiping the created, which is something I don't get into. I'd rather worship the creator. That's my point of view. People can take that and or leave it. I don't try to push it down anybody's throat. But that's how I see things. I see that this universe was given to us as a place to frolic and play for a long time, and it was hijacked by another being that wanted to proclaim itself as God and take the place, and created this Hegelian dialectic. Just as you would, best way I can describe it for people is the Star Wars plot. Palpatine creating two entities, the good one working for the constitutionalists and the government, and then the bad ones, the robot army, fighting against each other. That's dualism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's like a sense of supremacy that is another kind of expression we see in modern reality. We see like, people attempting to create order out of chaos in their own best interest, with this idea that they're somehow better than everyone else. You know what I mean? When
they believe in reincarnation. They believe that they are going to be reincarnated, and they're going to have, with the technology as it's growing, be able to have their souls and consciousness replanted into either a clone or a best way I could describe it is from Star Trek, the Borg type thing, or some kind of computer.
Yeah, and then that is going to lead us toward this transcendental object in some way. Like we'll become beings that have powers that will boggle the minds of lesser beings someday in the future, right? Like that's something to strive for. And then at the same time, we do exist in a reality that is ever changing, and we're constantly trying to better ourselves as individuals, and as a race, you would hope we would evolve toward higher aspirations of the spirit realm in other ways, and people are going to make mistakes along the way, you know what I mean? Like no one philosophy is ever going to be absolutely correct, in my opinion. There's not enough evidence to suggest that's true. We're all just human beings, right? And we all seek a higher truth. We have to look into ourselves to find.
I just wanted to welcome Angela in, so welcome. And yeah, that's some good stuff you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm Anon 2150, repping fear porn propaganda
That's right.
with my homie Wisecraft.
So is your mic working, Angela? You can say something if you want.
Should we turn her up or something?
Let me see.
I don't know this model person.
Nope, no sound. Alright.
Hey Haplo, what do you think, man?
Hmm.
Are you worried? Are you like concerned for the rest of us?
Absolutely. I'm concerned for my brothers and sisters. I see things as there is a way to escape. This is our bodies, our flesh, and everything that this is. I consider it to be a matrix, which translated from the Greek is the womb. We are trapped now in this place, and we've been given a way out. It's basically the red pill. We've been given the red pill, and I see it that way, and I choose to take the red pill. I don't want to stay here because I believe that there's a greater place to be with my creator at the end of all of this. And we're going to be shown some very cool stuff, and we're going to learn a whole bunch of new things, and I believe we're going to be given a whole new universe to explore and have awesome, cool things, just like transhumanists think. I think we're going to get it in a way that actually is what I would consider the right way.
Yep, it's about to get busy. All right.
Well, I wanted to add something to what you guys were talking about earlier. We're kind of like almost a transhumanism feel to the dualism. And what I've been noticing is that they are like keeping everything over in Utah in like a computer. Is tracking everything and like keeping everything. Like when you take a picture, it goes there. When you write something down on your phone, it goes there. Anything you put in your computer,
NSA
it goes there. Yeah.
tracking everything. They want to make sure you're not a terrorist.
And then you go to Japan. You go and check out what they're doing in Japan, and they're having this thing having to do with tracking your whole entire life, like keeping GoPros like everywhere, and like when you're riding a bike and you go to a place, and then they actually store it all on a computer. To me, this seems like a perfect setup to create a human avatar in the future of other people.
What kind of supercomputer could actually contain a human soul? What the fuck?
Right. Yeah, because think about that in the sense like they're tracking everything you're doing, and then as far as the computer is concerned, and then you got the GoPro people like basically like documenting their whole entire life. So then you put those things together, and you have like a human avatar in the computer system that can use like everything. Like if you think of Caprica, it basically kind of played this out, where you take all the information from the person, even though they're dead, and you can bring them into the computer, just like in that movie, Transcendence, I think, and you actually can, because of all of the information that is that person, you can create an avatar of that person, and then from that person do the Gattaca process, create a machine, or even Chappie, which is what they're showing now, and then take the consciousness that you created in the computer of the person, and then put that in the machine. Then that person or that machine or that consciousness lives forever.
Yeah.
Well, as long as the machine runs. If the machine runs on like solar power, like in Matrix, then they're fine.
Yeah, it's just going to be like...
Unless you blot out the sun.
If we start to indulge technology that is just going to get out of control, I mean, it already kind of is. And it's already inevitable that it's going to lead to that. Technology is just going to get more out of control. We're going to have AI. This is a real thing. It will happen.
It already is. It does happen.
It
exists now. Like we deal with AI on this Google Hangout thing with people. They're like bots.
You think AI exists now?
Yeah, exactly.
When did it come out? Because it has to come out on a date April
It's like
4th,
it's like a
2015.
Skynet thing, right?
Like, one day in the future, they'll have to take note of that in a history book somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. When did it start? Kind of
Exactly.
thing. Well, I don't think that we'll know, when it happens, because consciousness doesn't acknowledge itself. It shows itself.
What if it wants to become known?
Then it has
And
to.
it's
Then
just
exactly,
like
it shows itself. Like think of Golden Eye.
really
I mean,
judgmental
Eagle
person.
Eye. You remember the movie Eagle Eye? That was like a foreshadowing of the government system watching us, like from a satellite, and then that actually that satellite becoming sentient, like it being aware of itself,
Uh-huh.
and then that actually being able to call you on the phone and tell you to go do something and set it up over here, and you know what I mean?
Does it have a laser on it too, so it can just
Yeah.
strike you down?
Yep.
If it doesn't like, if you don't cooperate.
It's got all that stuff. Star Wars. From Reagan's thing. Anyway, you can chime in if you like, Haplo. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Any ideas or?
I know this is your
Sure.
field.
I am looking for
The cool symbol.
the soul traders. There's a prophecy that seems to be kind of coming into line, which people really didn't quite understand for the longest time. But it's basically the trading of human souls will become prevalent. That it will be something that is done just like people trade stocks. Human souls will become tradable.
They don't.
I do believe that most likely already there is technology that's probably hidden from us at this point that will be revealed at a later time, where souls can be collected, consciousness, and uploaded into, like you guys were talking about, avatars, or clones, or whatever, perpetually living forever, kind of like, what is it, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, it was like the fifth something, I don't know what it was, but it was the same thing. Clones just keep coming, they clone themselves and get uploaded into a
You know
new
what?
clone over and over and over
You know what
again.
I wonder? Sometimes I wonder, like, what would happen if really good people came out with this technology? Like, what could we accomplish if we could actually trust, what was going on in the world? What if good people could find ways to help each other with this technology?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
I think there's going to be a day when that happens.
Or is it going to be like everybody's going to renounce technology? They're going to be like, oh, we have to go back to our roots.
They've given us the
We've got to
foreshadowing
go
of
all
that.
the way back before the wheel. Nobody even sharpened a stick, because that's all technology.
That was on Transcendence at the end of the movie, and at the beginning. It pretty much portrayed that element, that we kind of give up on technology.
That's the solution.
And we just, like for instance, there's a scene where they take a keyboard and they use it for a doorstop.
There are all kinds of like crazy philosophies that people have. There was a particular cult that existed. This was like late Roman. A cult that believed you needed to, in order not to taint the spirit, they were not to engage in sexual acts that could lead to, having babies. And they were this strange cult of people that, as you can imagine, they died off very quickly. But their belief that the spirit was so sacred that they didn't want to taint it by bringing it into the physical world was something that was prevalent among a group of people in that era. Today, like, it seems you have a whole, like, a melting pot of ideas, that are just as crazy as that. It's like, if you look at humanity as though it were one consciousness, it would seem like schizophrenic. It would be like, it would have split personalities. Things would be happening that the other part of its consciousness doing something elsewhere would even be aware of. It's all part of the expression that is this human paradigm. So, it's very interesting to consider. thoughts, Keith? I mean, Wisecraft.
Oh, I got stuck into the inviting people and the
Oh.
chat and stuff, so I kind of got lost. What's happening?
We were talking about the strange human complex.
What about it?
I sort of started to lead toward collective consciousness type of
Like Jung? Like
Jungian
super consciousness kind of
super
thing?
consciousness. Maybe that's what the computer AI has in store for us in the future. Hey, everybody, we can plug into a super consciousness, but it's actually inside of a computer somewhere that's like super advanced, and all of us are just happy to exist our normal lives. But in truth or in reality, we're all part of a greater supercomputer outside of it. It's ourselves.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Supercomputer
I think
stuff.
that makes sense.
If I just say supercomputers, you know exactly what I'm talking
Well, yeah, supercomputers makes me think of the 13 computers that pretty much run all the electricity processes, and everything has to be run time stamped and everything like that.
Mhm.
So these things are microprocessors. They're really small. They are run by like more of like almost like atomic computer instead of like a silicon computer, for instance. And eventually they will have sentience because it's inevitable, in a sense, because of the understanding of us, in a sense. If it understands us, then it'll become sentient. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the idea. So if like computers never get the human mind, they don't ever understand us completely, then I don't think they can reach sentience.
Yeah, there's something to be said for if there's another being out there that can say it understands us, like that's not a human, that would be cool as fuck.
Welcome,
We
viewer.
get your perspective on it. That would be cool.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm awesome. After I don't know, I've been trying to catch the show like right as it begun for 2 weeks now. I'm happy, man. Yeah, I finally caught the show. I'm on the panel. Oh yeah. How are you guys all doing?
Good.
Doing good. We're discussing dualism today.
So right on, right on. All right, I'm gonna take a back seat because this isn't my topic, so I'm just gonna be all ears.
Okay, but we'll ask you, like your opinion from time to time.
Yeah, definitely, wherever I can contribute, man.
Sure. So,
Hey guys, can you guys hear me?
yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear you.
now
You got your mic going.
Now we
Awesome.
can.
So, welcome on the show.
Anything like this, so I'm a little ignorant, so I'm gonna kind of listen too.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, we're just talking, like whatever.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep the focus on dualism, but we can go around and like get on tangents of other things. We kind of were talking about transhumanism a little bit, and consciousness expansion into the computer, or like the cyber realm, in a sense, like the cyber expansion to consciousness. The idea of a computer tracking us as a human society, and then using that society as a maybe to create a false reality, and then put us in there. Things like that.
Right.
If there were like another consciousness that could be created by technology in the form of artificial intelligence, and it sought to understand humanity, it might be pretty profound. It might be able to point out, hey, this is exactly what you're doing wrong, and here's exactly what you need to do. But
sometimes, I'm sorry.
nobody knows what is going to happen when you start to interact with this thing. I mean, it's inevitable. Is it going to think that it's God? Is it going to have the same complex, misunderstandings that we have about reality and make mistakes based on its
Skynet.
perception? I mean, if it decides to take over humanity, at some point as it evolves, it will realize that that was the wrong thing to do. question is like, where are we coming in on the development of this particular consciousness? Like, humanity has had hundreds of thousands of years to try to orient itself to where we are today, but a computer, you know, an AI might be a year or two. We could find ourselves being caught up to and surpassed in many ways, which is scary to think about, because then all of our, you know, paradigms, our individual ideas are all going to fall apart and they're going to shatter. No one's going to know what the fuck's going on, and everyone's going to have to admit it.
It's like in a reality bubble, in a sense, like the idea behind creating a new reality. It can fall in on itself. Like, it can only last as long as reality holds up, and then so like our current reality can only hold up for however long it can, and then it'll fold in on itself.
Yep, something else it will morph into something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, what do you guys? Oh, sorry.
What's up?
I was just gonna say, what do you guys think? You know, like, I think eventually Earth itself, you know, in its own consciousness, is just gonna be like, you know, you are a complete fail. Fuck you. We're gonna start over.
You think the Earth is just gonna like wipe us out with some disease, or like,
I mean, or whatever, you know, well,
asteroid or something?
or something. Like, you know, they bring up the Ice Age, but then you can look deeper into it. Did they just make up an Ice Age to cover up our history? You know, but I think Mother Earth, the more that we tamper with it and the elite and all that, you know, fuck with it, really, it's going to just be like, you know what, I'm done with you, you're a complete fail, we're going to start this over. I mean, who knows how that's going to happen, but, you know, Mother Nature is not forgiving. Like, how much can we mess with it until she just totally gets pissed off and is like, I'm done?
Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of a flea on a dog. You know, it's like eventually the flea is gonna like move the. I mean, the dog's gonna move the flea from its skin because it's irritating it, and the flea just like wants to live there.
Well, we're watching the
Right.
what I would probably about a third of the ocean dying. People don't want to talk about it. Media doesn't want to bring it up. But the poisoning of the Pacific Ocean due to the Fukushima just dumping tons of radiation into the ocean, and every scientist is keeping their lips sealed when tons of sea creatures are washing up on the shore every day, dead, and they always want to call it something else other than radiation poisoning. We're killing off this planet, and I think that, you know, as people call the elite or the Illuminati or whatever they are, really are hell bent on destroying the Earth.
Yeah.
Because I believe their belief system, they think that if they destroy the Earth and kill as many people off as possible, to get the numbers down, they are going to be able to be reincarnated. So they will be the ones with the knowledge, and they'll be the ones that get to come back. The other ones will be out of their way. And they really don't care, because they do, in a way, believe in evolution, that they can modify everything. They can genetically change things, and it doesn't matter to them if they destroy the Earth, because they can just modify themselves to live in a radioactive environment.
Yeah, it's
So,
like they'll like continue to keep the reins of power and carry on a destructive course until they basically take enough resources away from us that we all start to die. And eventually they'll be the only ones who still have any power. It'll constantly be in the form of doing what's best for them, rather than looking out for the whole humanity itself.
well, I was going to throw this out too. There's a book series actually by Madeline L. Engel. It was written and published in 1962. It's called A Wrinkle in Time, and it's about these kids that kind of get sucked into like another dimension. You know, it's very interesting, and they end up in this place where everybody. It's almost like a Nazi outlook on how, with technology and the fascist mindset or corporatist mindset, where everybody is hooked in through this kind of like a wireless system to this big brain that runs everybody. Everybody does the exact same thing. Everybody ticks to the same thing. Nobody has free will. Everybody shares the same consciousness, and it's like living on a planet of slaves. And I always liked that because it seems what they would like to do with their transhumanism and everything. Have everybody be in kind of like a hive mind and enslave people and trap us where we don't have the right to make our own choices. It'd be like you'd have the thought police, that you can't even think a certain way.
Yeah. That's a wrong attitude, I think. It hinders the spirit. And what really needs to
Well,
be
they've
done,
already accomplished that.
yeah, but the whole like the nature of spirit is not to be contained,
Thank you.
Not even physical reality can contain what's inside of all of us.
There's a
And-
statement I really like. We are more than the sum of what we consume. We are so much more than what we even realize. Even people that are in a state where they might be a little more awake to what's going on, I don't think I or anybody else know exactly the measure of what we are capable of. It's been hidden from us, and we've been lied to and made to feel like we are nothing, that we are just an accident, that we are worthless and we are to be thrown away and replaced by somebody else.
Yeah, we
And that
need
is
to.
not the truth.
Yeah, we're all hindered by these ideas that we're somehow less than or not as good as others. That we are deserving of a less honor than other things. I think all life is deserving of honor. If you're going to cut down a tree, I think you should realize that there's a spirit in the tree that you're taking with it, and that there are certain things that we should be considerate about when we are taking from this natural world, like the physical world.
I agree.
You say that
Man
there are
is
things that.
yeah.
Go ahead, man. You have a thought? You should share.
Yeah, man is to, and woman, if you will, I say man, just cover the whole genre, has charge over this world, to take care of it, to cultivate it, to make it beautiful, to take care of our own place. That, I believe, is absolutely what we are supposed to do, to take care of this creation. And to destroy it goes against everything that we know is good.
Right. I think that's why everybody, there's so much hate and everybody's so pissed off, and it goes against the nature of everything. I think that's why everybody is just so pissed off. I don't know. It's weird.
I also, when we talk about dualism, sometimes I found that getting down to the basic root of what dualism is, and this is the basic dictionary aspect of dualism. It's the division of something conceptually in two opposed or contrasted aspects, or the state of being so divided. A dualism between man and nature. Or number two, the quality or condition of being duality.
Hey, what about as above, so below?
As above, so below?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another form of dualism that's portrayed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's also hermetic.
Yeah, and it goes back to the
It's talking about the spirit world, and it's talking about the physical world.
But in a sense, it's also talking about the sky,
Yeah.
like as a
There's
space,
correlations.
and
There are
then saying that
correlations.
it's represented underneath as well.
I'm reading the Hermetic dialect right now, supposedly written by Hermes Trismegistus 2,000 years before the Roman Empire.
Mhm.
Wait, is that
That's
the
not-
Emerald Tablet?
It's ancient.
No,
He wrote that too.
no, I'm not reading
It's
that.
ancient though.
I'm reading the Kabbalion.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it talks about the spirit realm. You can't take anything away from it. You can't add anything to it. What true reality is this spirit? and it kind of tries to give some explanation how a physical nature such as ours could come into being, in the way that thoughts are created in our mind, the way that they come into being, you know. So in that sense, the spirit as one mind, nothing beyond it, nothing, you know, nothing to contain it, completely free, is true reality, and it exists in another realm out kind of beyond what we experience in the physical world.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that the local, I'm sorry, but how you doing, guys?
All right, how are you?
You know,
Hey, Eric,
I
welcome.
think the local information, in some cases, it can be used as a negative suppression towards our higher thinking. You feel what I'm saying? Because we could do a lot better in our thinking as opposed to what we're doing now. At least I know I can.
Nice.
I'm actually having a little trouble hearing you, so.
Yeah, I've been getting screwed lately.
Let's see. I'm looking at what you're talking about. It's Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, the aged initiator.
Yeah, there's this whole belief that he was the oldest philosopher in human history, but that was disproven in, I think, God, I'm not very good with years, but I think it was like maybe like the 1400s or something like that, and probably 1400s, but that was a time when classicism was coming up, like, as a major theme leading into the Renaissance era. And like, if you look it up, classicism was an era where people would look toward ancient philosophies, and like this idea that the older it is, the better it was, kind of, you know, social movement occurred.
Well, a lot of people in high places, elites, if you will. I mean, we could throw out names like the Rothschilds, you know, they're worth trillions of dollars. They have a belief that they follow a bloodline. And that's a bloodline that goes, and they believe in the, what, you know, people call the big deluge or the flood. They believe that their bloodline consists of that of Cain and of what they essentially called their gods, the fallen angels, and they are related to them genetically. And Thoth is someone in that bloodline, along with Egyptian leaders. That's what they believe. This is what they believe. They believe these things. And there's many different lines, and their representation is a star, 5 point, 6 point, 8 point, 3 point. It's all fallen angel lines, if you will. That's what they believe. They think that they're descended from gods, and they want to get back to the golden age, to the time before everything was destroyed. And they're working very diligently to perform and put together their great work, as they call it. And those are the things that people like you and I see, the NWO.
And then, like, it's not very hard for modern man to see where the mistake is in all of that. I mean, you just take a look. None of us are or could ever be God. I mean, there's the idea of the spirit, and we all have a spirit. We're all part of this spirit, but no one person can say that they understand everything.
Nope.
But they tried.
They try.
Yeah, like even you and I talking here, what we're trying to do is share as much truth as we can. Like, meaning people are trying not to say untruth, which is very hard to do.
Right. Because so the language, for one thing, the language is complex.
Mm.
You know, the language that we speak, I can say one word that means 6 or 7 different things, so it's got to be about my motive now.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you going to lead it?
Well, that I see that even just with. I mean, I know German. I can read and write German. Speaking it, I don't use it very often. So speaking, it's not so great. But yeah, there's a lot of things. Just even with that language compared to English, oh wow, the differences are astronomical sometimes in translation.
Right. And in some cases, the language can be catastrophic. You know, it can be classifying to the hearers if we're not careful.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll pretty much doom yourself to some sort of a reality if you take everything literally, and it's like, it leaves no room for improvement.
Mm.
Anyway, language will get you stuck.
Yes. Yes, there's many different formats. There's the language of symbolism that we all see, and there's so much of it, and a lot of things that have, I believe, spiritual aspects attached to them, being used against us to control us. I think we've mentioned this before, that people are, I believe people are casting spells on us. Like rituals done at the Super Bowl. Millions of people watching that and getting involved and using all of that energy to direct it in one way for somebody else's goal. And while the people have no clue what's really going on because they've been kept in ignorance.
Yeah, we know that these things exist too. I mean, there's a documentary, you can look it up. It's about the Reagan era where they set up the what do they call it, like the black government or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. I think in all actuality that's existed long before that. But
they took it to another level, though.
They did, yeah.
In the Reagan era, I mean, we always spent a lot of money on weapons and stuff, but in the Reagan era, like, there was a lot of spending in that sort of like creation of a kind of counter government.
Yeah, the amazing thing that the forefathers, if they realized it or not, of America, of this country, being esoteric or whatever they were, and creating the document called the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It's, I believe, unlike anything else that's ever been written, it is fluid. And it's very hard to get around it. They thought this one through quite well. And what we see is the slowly having to try to overcome that Constitution and the Bill of Rights, because they just couldn't overrun it in one night. It was impossible, because when you read it and you hear it, it becomes reality. It's kind of like I've said before, we create our own reality. Things we put under our heads. We see our world that way, and it literally transformed people into a God-given right to freedom. And what we see is them trying to get around that Constitution and that Bill of Rights, and it being defeated by it. And they're very carefully trying to pick it apart piece by piece to overcome it so they can do what they want to do. And I believe that's been one of their biggest stumbling blocks, and that's why we're seeing things happen in this country like we are, because of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. One thing that's profound, I think, is how if you're labeled a constitutionalist, quote unquote, you're like put into the same category as a conspiracy theorist or a crazy prepper, or it's like, no, I just want rights and I want the Constitution to be upheld, but they put you in a category as a crazy person. Like, it's crazy.
That's the 6 corporate entities that own all of the media outlets in what we call the free world. That's exactly what they're doing to get around the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Then now they're not telling kids about these things while they're going to school. I have gone around and I've asked so many people that are of the age 18, 19, 20 through 22, did you ever learn about the Constitution or your Bill of Rights? And they would say, no, that was never even brought up. Well, I know when I came over here at 8 from Germany and I started school, that was one of the things I learned. I learned about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, but now kids aren't even being educated about this. They don't have a clue. We're doomed if people don't have that, creating their reality of God-given freedom. And that's how they're getting around it, is they had to slowly deteriorate society to the point where they don't even remember the Constitution or the Bill of Rights to step all over our inalienable rights to freedom.
Right. Like, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I recently, like 3 months ago, jerked her out of school. I'm in a position now to where I can homeschool her. And literally last year, I was going to the dollar store or whatever to get an alarm clock. And they didn't have a digital one, so I got an analog. And she was like, well, I can't use this. I don't know how to read it. And I'm like, she was 12 years old. And that's a whole different subject. But, you know, just how blatant they are in de-educating our kids. It took me 5 minutes to show her how to read a fucking analog clock.
Exactly.
You can't teach her this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of disinformation being fed to kids is ridiculous. I've asked simple questions to people. There's a girl I work with. She's 22 now. I said, "Where's Copenhagen?" She said, "Oh, is that over in one of the states in the United States?" I said, "No, that would be in Denmark." I said, "Where is Vatican City at?" Is that in? She literally said this. Is that in Australia? What? I said, okay. I said, "What does D.C. stand for in Washington D.C.?" I'm not really too sure. District of Columbia. What does the Statue of Liberty represent? I'm not really sure. Columbia. Oh my God. What are you people? They're handing you a piece of paper, a document that says that you learned something, but you know nothing. They have walked out of that place. They just mull them through the 1 through 12 and then hand them a documentation saying that they know something. No, the only thing they know is they were programmed. They're programmed to be good little slave workers. Do as they're told and don't look outside of the box because it's too scary.
Exactly.
It's horrible, and I applaud you for homeschooling.
Looking outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get the full executive order about, you can imprison me if I even question your stupid ass authority because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back. I had to take off for a second. Anon take over, but he's gonna have to step out.
Yep. Later, folks. It's nice talking with you, everybody.
Hey, take it easy, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. There's an old movie, a Robert Duvall movie from, when was it, actually? I think it's the 70s. Let me get the exact date here.
So what did I miss?
1971. We were talking about the Constitution and Bill of Rights and how it's being stolen from us, from the children, so they don't know their inalienable rights to freedom, God-given freedom. I was going to go into talking about this movie done in 1971 called THX 1138. If nobody's seen this, you know that one?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Go check out the comparisons to videos of Apple and their employees and what they look like and compare it to THX 1138.
Yeah, that sounds very accurate to me. Because the designs and everything, it almost seems like they're kind of modeling it after that.
I think so. I mean, they are censoring. Apple is even worse than Google on censorship. It is horrid on what they'll do. They on one hand, they will allow, and no offense to African Americans that there are some rap groups out there that literally like got lyrics, kill whitey. They're going to kill white people. I mean, it's all cool, and they will plaster that all over iTunes. But if somebody wanted to say the opposite of that, which I don't agree with, that's what I'm getting at is that it's very one-sided. They will restrict things. People questioning the history of the world, things that are a little odd and things that have come up that people have found that aren't quite right, so they want to explore them and they make a podcast out of it, and all of a sudden, bam, it's removed because they don't want people questioning anything. And it reminded me of that movie, THX 1138. That you've got your own little reality created by the system for you. Do not step outside of the lines, or they will use giant electrical cattle prods on you.
Yeah, and go back to when that was created. That was Steven Spielberg's first movie. I mean, not Steven Spielberg, Lucas's first like production from his like college time. Yep. So he had no indoctrination at the time of like Hollywood and whatnot, other than like being a normal person like us, being indoctrinated by the film industry.
Here's the work hard, increase production, prevent accidents, and be happy. THX 1138. George Lucas's directional debut presents a cold dystopian. I can never say it. dystopian. Dystopian. Thank you. Future in which individual thought and love are forbidden, but two citizens dare to rebel.
Have you seen Brazil?
Yes.
Yeah, that portrays that element as well.
Exactly. It's just, I'm amazed that these things can be shown to people, told to people, but yet they're going to go wear their little suit and go work for Apple and be a happy part of the collective, where anything outside of the box of of the information they've been given is a no-no and should be shunned.
Those people probably aren't sci-fi like people in the first place, so they probably never really see the thing. They probably don't get in. That's like for us to see as them in a sense, not for them to see.
Yeah, they're happy little. Public school graduates. Happy little worker bees.
But the main thing in that movie, the original, portrayed the element of being taken over by machines, essentially, or computers.
Exactly.
And controlled.
It's just strange that I'm seeing like these movies that I grew up watching. Now I'm looking around me in the world. I'm going, really? Like, when is Soylent Green going to start kicking out next?
Oh, there already is a Soylent product.
Yay!
It's like a product that you don't you drink. You mix it up with like water or something, and depending on how much you put in it, it's like either sweeter or less sweet, and you don't have to eat. You can just drink that, and it will like essentially like get all your nutrients that you need. And
what is it, like Soylent Light? It's made out of monkeys. Next it will be humans.
I'm saying it's called Soylent, so it made me think like people, and then like it's a white substance, so it made me think like ash.
It's people. Crazy stuff, man. And the funny thing I see around me is that the programming, the predictive programming of people, to me, it's kind of like telling somebody that you're getting ready to walk in front of a bus and get hit, and somebody saying, "Fuck you, I don't want to talk about that stuff," and then turn around and walk in front of the bus. It's kind of how I see it. Like, hey, you might want to look outside of the box and realize that we might have some nukes flying from Russia this way. There's a maybe a World War III about ready to brew, and you're not quite grasping the concept because you're too worried about Kim Kardashian's ass.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to start looking outside of the box, because when is it going to be wake up time? When there is a freaking Russian tank rolling down your street? What? I mean, I really do. I think that this country is doomed at this point. The wake up call is going to be too late. It's just a sad state of affair.
In my opinion, it's been doomed for a while. It's just been like a stepping stone process to like let us know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I've noticed too, like you can have friends that you've been friends with for like 30 years, you know, since you're kids or whatever. Like I'm 36, so you know, and they'll totally like even if you bring anything up. I mean, just even chemtrails, they'll like disassociate themselves from you. You know,
Yeah.
think you're crazy, and it's like, really? I mean, you're that fucking dumb, and
Yeah.
it's true. Like you're that. It's not stupid. It's
I
you know,
look
they
up in the
just don't
sky.
want to look at
I
it.
see something that I haven't seen. This is probably in the late 90s, early 2000s when I started noticing this. Is I've always been outside of the box, and that's how
Right.
I've always been. I looked up in the sky and I realized that what I thought were contrails at one point were lasting quite a long time compared to what I used to see when I was younger. I
Yeah.
thought, really? I
Right.
thought that was just condensation that dissipated very quickly. Now all of a sudden they're turning into clouds. That's odd. I started finding, slowly but surely over the years that this is increasing. And until the point where I actually worked with a gal that's from China. She's been here for 8 years, and she always wears masks on certain days, those little medical masks, and she buys them and brings them in. And I asked her one day, I said, why do you wear those? She said, oh, because of the spraying in the sky. I said, oh, you know about that? She says, oh, yes, they do it in China all the time. They tell us on the news to wear masks on heavy spraying days. They're
Wow.
controlling the weather. I
Wow.
said, no shit. They're telling you in China on the news to wear masks to keep that stuff out of your lungs because it's a heavy spraying day. And here I have somebody like you just described that I've known for 30 years disassociating themselves with me because I mention it. I live with a bunch of crackpot crazy people.
Right.
The commies are telling their
Crazy
people
is like-
truths.
Yeah.
What
You
the
notice,
hell?
like, I graduated in '97, which is really when this stuff really started coming prevalent. You know, the chemtrails that's when they really started. And if you think about it, it's when they started this is right around the time that fucking cell phones became popular. Everybody was getting a cell phone, you know, early 2000s. So nobody is looking up. Everybody is got their face in their phone. And
Yeah.
it's like they didn't start it before the use of cell phones became heavy.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
To
I
me,
like that.
They started
it's
it in
like-
1990,
Yeah.
or essentially 89, but I mean, they implemented it in 1990.
Yeah. It's just
Right.
increasingly
But it
growing global.
heavy. Cell phone use became more heavy and heavy. You know, so more people are looking down. You
Mhm.
know,
Right, and then they just put more and more
My-
cell phone towers all over the freaking place.
And we got them earphones plugged in our ears, and we don't even communicate with people no more. We plug into them apps.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
Oh.
in my city, they require you to put your earphones in your ears when you ride in the bus. So early in the morning, everybody plugs in except for me because I'm thinking EMP blast early in the morning because they know
Yeah.
everybody plugged in. I'm watching.
Yep. They require you to do that while riding on the bus. Is that what you just said? They require you to put your earbuds in while you're riding on the bus?
Yes, sir.
What in the world for?
There's no eating, no drinking, no smoking, and no playing music without earphones. So they're telling you to put your earphones on, so that's what people do.
I see.
Oh, yeah, because
the
then
noise
you
pollution
don't
down.
know what the hell's going on around you with your earphones in.
Yeah. Yeah, they're using it under the guise of noise pollution.
Yeah, because of all the old. I mean, I remember the old times when they had like in the '80s they had the boombox. They would go on the bus all the time.
Yeah, I miss those days.
me too.
The last semblance of freedom.
People actually enjoyed it. You know, it's not like they would be like, oh, you know, turn that shit off. You know what I mean? It would be like, yeah, turn that up. Let's dance. You know what I mean?
That's where I first heard the class.
Yeah, and it was a way to like start talking to people, and then you create some kind of community because you have something in common. Music, which is about emotion. You know what I mean? But another thing, like I was born in '79, and I can remember the sky being like really blue.
Yeah,
Now
like
you
dark,
get
like
this,
a
like,
deep,
vapor.
like a deep
Yeah,
kind of
like a
blue.
deep blue. Now it's just like fucking,
It's like it's almost
this
white.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so hazy from all the crap.
Yep.
That's all the sulfuric acid they're putting up there. That makes it white.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And people just don't get it. I mean, you're looking at it every day. I literally cannot walk out of my door without seeing the shit. Now they're doing like triangles, it's X's, and now there are triangles everywhere when you look up. It's crazy.
Have you ever seen the clouds that are literally shaped like something? I mean, you can tell, like somebody with some device is actually shaped a cloud to look like something. I've seen them here where I'm at. And I've seen stuff that looks like, I saw one that looks like a cross. I'm looking at it, and I was like, that can't be an accident.
Really?
Somebody's pissing with this stuff.
I've seen a cross. I've seen a whole lot of stuff, like pictures of angels,
Yes.
dragons with breath. Matter
Yep.
of fact, I was on a bus today going to the auction, and I looked up in the sky because I'm a sky watcher, and I can see like three men faces blowing smoke out their mouth. I'm like, look at that shit.
Yep. And people will be like, no, he must be tripping on acid.
Right. I'm crazy.
No.
Like, I don't know where you're at, but like I'm in South Carolina, and I swear, like the day before yesterday or yesterday when we had the big puffy clouds in the sky, it was like faces were everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like more of a math brain, so I'm not very creative by total admittance of myself, but so I don't really see different pictures a lot, but it was blatant, and like it just was total faces. It was weird.
Yeah, I think that's HARP, but I digress.
Yeah, well, like all the clouds have like waves in them and shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what the question is, I think maybe people have is, what in the hell are we going to do about it? What do we do? There's some people that notice these things. For me, I'm not worried. I'm not scared.
Right.
I just know that I have been built the way I've been built, or created the way I've been created to be who I am. And I know down to the core of my spirit that I am going to survive whatever's thrown at me. And I know I'm going to help as many people as I possibly can if times get rough.
Right.
Almost would like to start a little community somewhere out in the middle of Wyoming and nowhere's land, and just have a little homeschool little place where kids can be taught reality, and just put a big fence around it and slap U.S. border on the fence.
There's got to be a way to do it right, over time, like all these scenarios like push us into some program that they want us to do for the New World Order, but in the end, like, if we beat them, we can redistribute all of this stuff and use the technology and to our benefit more for like a positive outcome instead of a negative outcome.
I heard something very interesting the other day. Somebody posed a question to somebody I listen to, and I read their stuff. A guy's named Steve Quayle, and the question was, oh great, now I just lost the question. But no, it's basically the question that's being posed is, never mind, I just lost my thought. Forgive me. It'll hit me here in a minute.
You're forgiven.
Getting too old.
Happens to us all.
You might have been hawked.
Yeah, there you go. You know who Steve Quayle is, don't you?
Yeah, but I really appreciate y'all doing this type of show and getting this type of information out there.
Yeah, it needs to be out. People, that's it. Thank you. Right back on track. was why hasn't this been gone? Why hasn't this escalated faster? That was the question, and the reply is because people like you and I and all of us and everybody else that are out here getting truth out to people, to what we see, and just basically saying there's something else than what Fox and CNN is telling you. There's something more than what the government's telling you. There's something more than what the colleges and the public schools are telling you. There's something going on, and we are stopping this in its tracks. We are holding them up. We are giving them a harder time than what they're trying to let on. Because if they show weakness in any way, then they look weak. But it is basically the movement saying there's something going on, and we want to know what the heck it is.
Well, it seems that this push towards dualism seems to be a way to program us, or a way to keep us in some form of rat maze.
Yep, I concur. Because I don't believe in this Hegelian dialectic that people like to push on us with this dualist type thing. I believe that we all have the knowledge of good and evil, and it's essentially we are in a way dualist. We know what is good and we know what is bad, and that's instilled in us from birth. We know these things.
Yeah, but they seem to reverse them on us. Have you noticed
exactly this? They want to flip it, turn everything upside down. Yep, they want to make good evil.
Yeah, and even, our anatomy is dualistic. We have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 feet, 2 sides of the brain. I mean, everything is dual.
We have male and female. Male, female get together, create another one. Either male or female. It's dualistic all the way through and through, but it's the bastardization of all of that is what's happening. It's turning it upside down. And what we're seeing is our world flipped upside down, and there are people with enough sense, like people like us, to say, wait a minute, I wasn't raised in this. I know that's wrong, but you're telling me it's good.
Yeah. And that's a way, essentially, to hypnotize. Because if you say something's not something and then you believe that that's the way it is wholeheartedly, then that will affect you in the future, representing that circumstance. And then you won't have any, say against it, because you already are indoctrinated with that belief.
Yep.
It's like those people in the cult that are born into it. So they are indoctrinated from, early child life, and their parents are also born into it. So they basically train their children to be the way that they are. And then eventually when they get old enough to kind of know right from wrong, they see it the opposite direction because of how they were indoctrinated in the first place.
Yep, there's people that honestly and truly believe that raping children is good.
Yeah,
to me,
essentially
taking them out and shooting them in the back of the head is the best idea. Yeah, I mean, I've looked at that before. They've got, here in America, they've got the Man Boy Association, and it's starting to gain political clout. They have people with money behind them. There's an organization, I can't remember what it's called, but one in Great Britain as well, that they're pushing to lower the legal adult sexual consent age to 12 in Great Britain right now. And there's people in different states that are trying to get it down to as low as 10. They're trying to take good and make it bad and make bad good.
Well, it's like the whole sick. I mean, I have a 13-year-old daughter, so, you got these people that are like, their mentality is, well, if you bleed, you can breed. And a lot of girls start their period when they're between 11 and 15 years old.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah. You look at GMO stuff and the like dairy products and the manipulation of cattle. Girls didn't start having their, coming of age, if you will, until probably 14 or 15. Say 100 years ago, about a normal age is about 14 or 15.
That long
Now
ago,
we're
right?
starting to see 8-year-olds
Yeah,
coming of age.
8, 9, yeah, like pubic hair.
Exactly.
My son got pubic hair at 7. Okay, now I'm like 5'1", 110 pounds. I'm a small woman. My little girl is 13. She wears a 38 double D bra. She wears size 18 women's pants. She's not fat. She's just built, you know, solid. You know, she's taller than I am, which that's not a big feat because, like I said, I'm 5'1". But still, all this junk, and I mean, you got these kids that look like grown-ass women.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
And
in
that
the
confuses
80s,
people.
Yeah, even in the 80s, a 16-year-old girl looked like a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen
They
them
have
too.
like an innocence to them, right? But it's like seems like their innocence gets lost like early on
Yeah.
because of indoctrination.
Yep. I saw, like, I think I described
Oh, and
this.
I was just going to say, I've seen it firsthand.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I saw a girl, like you were describing. She had,
Yeah.
on her jogging pants, she had, like, her mom looked like, you know, the whore. And then there was the daughter in training. And she probably couldn't have been more than 11 or 12, maybe 13. Looked fully equipped and had a little tight belly shirt on, showing everything, and a little pair of tight pants on a butt. It said, "Smash this." And I looked at that and I said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that somebody would let their kid walk out of the house wearing that. It's just unbelievable."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't watch TV, but you have the whole toddlers and tiaras. People are doing this to their 2- and 3-, 4-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Turning them into sex objects willingly.
Yep.
Bikinis.
Exactly.
What the fuck? Like,
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's
Yep.
so ridiculous. I mean, people should be shot.
Thank you. Just take them out, put them out of their misery, our misery. Reverse that one.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
I mean, earlier, you know, I have went through this firsthand. Like, my kid goes to her dad's every other weekend, right? She started a fucking Facebook page. I found it random. All right, we were in the dollar store one day, and the clerk, you know, we live in a small town. The clerk was like, "Oh yeah, I saw you talking to, you know, my niece on Facebook." So, I go on there, you know, and then like she's talking about fucking and going to mylesbian.com, and this is my child. She's like 12 at the time, right? Then 2 weeks later, I busted her ass. Like, you are fucking busted, right?
Wow.
I called her out. 2 weeks later, I get a call from the school where she was found in the bathroom cutting herself.
What?
Oh, I
Wow.
took her fucking ass to the, you know, I told her dad, I'm taking her to the hospital. If they want to commit her, whatever, you know, which this is before I had looked up. I'm doing it. Because, you know, and that is a direct result of all the Disney and the program.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got the printouts in my car. I printed out that one thread of Facebook messages, 82 pages long, while she's at her dad's talking all night to this other girl about having babies, like 2 vaginas can have a baby, okay? Like, you guys don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I mean, it totally changed my whole life. Like, I took her out of school, you know, she's doing, like, so much better now, but I had to go through this to realize what was really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was part of your process of awareness.
Oh, totally. Yeah, you know, I'm a product of the 80s, so I think most people know something's not right. They're just too scared to, like, see it.
I think that's exactly
They don't want
it. They've been told so much through all formats of media that are just available that it's too scary to look outside what the media says is the norm.
You know what I
And
think?
Oh, and they'll tell me. I don't want to know what McDonald's is feeding me. I don't want to know. I like it. That's it. I'm going to eat it. Okay.
I I don't
It's fetuses. Okay. Sure. They don't
yeah,
want
I
to
don't
know.
think that
Ignorance
is the
Go ahead,
is
View.
I don't
Hold on,
think they're
Angela. Let View talk for a
necessarily
minute.
I don't think they're necessarily afraid. They just don't want to be in a situation where they have to do anything about it. See, a lot of us are comfortable with the nanny state taking care of us in our lives. You know, it goes. You can see this in the employee versus the employer. Most people are comfortable going to work for someone else instead of, building their business or making money on their own because they prefer that security, if you want to call it that. So the thing that I feel it is people don't want to take the initiative to control everything in their lives because so much of it is controlled by someone else and they feel comfortable in that.
Right, but that's the false
right.
slavery you end up like putting yourself in that sense.
Exactly.
Right. And it's like even somebody that's in an abusive relationship, they don't really get out because the familiarity of it is comfort.
Yeah,
We're
and it always
all
comes
being
back. It's like a
abused.
cycle.
Yeah, and they always come back. And so, we're all just slaves to the system, like they're slaves to their partner who's beating their ass every day.
it's
Yeah, and the partner that beats the ass also knows that. They're like aware that there's a cycle, and they use it against the person.
sometimes those people are even caught into a cycle, and
Yeah, that's true. They don't
they're
even
returning to
realize.
their they don't even realize it. I always called it it's like a dog returning to their own vomit. If anybody's been
Right.
around to see a dog throw up and they go back and eat it, that's the repetitiveness. Let's repeat this process over and over and over again and expect a different result. And that's one thing we also see in our educational curriculums in school. We see this in our favorite media, TV shows, movies. Let's repeat this over and over and over again and see if we get a different result. But
Which
if I
is
remember
insanity.
correctly, that's the definition of insanity.
Yeah,
And
that
it's
is.
being pushed on a massive social level now. That we are now a schizophrenic, insane society that wants to repeat the same process over and over and over again. And as a society, as a hive mind collective, see if we can get a different result the next time, which will only lead to destruction.
Right. It's like the abuser. Well, that bitch ain't going nowhere, so yeah, I'm gonna keep on hitting her. That they feel like that about us. What are y'all gonna do? Where are you gonna go? Well, guess what? Someday somebody's gonna figure out what the fuck we can do.
There was an experiment done with dogs back in, I think, the 50s. I might have to look this up to get all the dates right. But essentially, they took 3 dogs, and one dog was loved, fed, just paid attention to, petted, treated very well. Another dog was beaten, but fed. Every time they go feed the dog, they would kick it, beat it, yell at it, mistreat it. But it lived, and so did the other dog. They had the third dog that they would push food into it, but there was no human contact. There was no contact from other animals. There was nothing. And that dog died within a week, I believe, or a very short period of time, I'll put it as. I don't remember the exact time frames. But in people's minds, it's better to have the negative attention than no attention at all. Because we, as humans and as all other creatures, we're social creatures. Even tigers out in the jungle that go out by themselves will find company at some point. They get urges. They're other tigers, so they get to get around each other once in a while. Everything's social. We need that, and people are addicted to whatever they can get. And like you said, comfort zone, and even being beaten is better than nothing at all.
And to add to that, according to Zvali, you're when those people that are in the cult, they get indoctrinated at an early age. They get beat to death, almost practically to death. And so that process allows them to kind of get into that stability perception And they know this ahead of time, so they can use that for their children, so they know how to kind of use them against us in the future, like a trigger, like trigger effect.
And then we can go right back to THX 1138. That's exactly what those police officer-looking guys were doing to people with these giant electrical sticks, cattle prods. They would sit there and shock people into the point where they were just curled up in the fetal position on the ground because they had committed a thought crime.
Right.
Welcome to the New World Order. It's a good movie, in a way. It's kind of an eye-opener.
Well, let's talk about thought crimes a little bit. I mean, because it seems like that's where things are headed and where they're kind of at right now, associated with certain scenarios that are out there being played out, whether they're real or not. They're actual scenarios, and they play them out. So, like, therefore, like, there's reasons behind it, and they seem to be setting us up for future processes that we're, like, basically, like that Jade Helm. I've been looking into Jade Helm. Have you looked into that at all?
Yes.
And what's your take on that so far?
It's either a psyop or it's literally people getting ready to, in preparedness for something coming down the line. Some people are going so far as saying that the dollar can't handle anymore, that we're printing so much that it's going to collapse, and we've got FEMA camps everywhere, and this is just the shadow government's military preparing to start corralling people in a economic crash.
And right, exactly, and they're going to be coming for the people with the thought crimes.
Anybody that's subversive.
Well, they can just say that you're, and they could implant thought crimes. That's the problem with thought crime. They can be implanted. They can be set up ahead of time, and if you're not in the program, you're not involved in it, you wouldn't know because you're outside of it.
I'm not sure, like corralling people, I live near Columbia, South Carolina, and the governor made it illegal to be homeless. So they're literally going around and picking these people up and taking them to a camp.
Yeah. It's actually a FEMA camp. Actually, I read about that. That they're taking people to a FEMA camp and putting the homeless in there.
Yeah, and it's
but don't they call those residential centers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they used to call them, and that's what they called Auschwitz too. It was a residential center.
Right.
Yeah, education.
You have to think about it.
And it's going to start the homeless to the poor, eventually. Everyone, I think. But you come to my house, you're either going to get shot or you're going to have to shoot me in the head.
That's how I look at it. Somebody was trying to say something in the background there.
Oh yeah, it was me. I had saw that Obama had signed a bill that they was gonna hold off for a couple of years before they helped the veterans and the homeless. So I'm wondering, why would you wait for a couple of years? These people need help right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Because in a couple of years, half of them be dead.
Right.
Yeah, and they're going to change so many laws by then, it's not going to matter.
Unbelievable. What a fun age we live in. I tell you. Back in the late 80s and early 90s and my teens, I never in my life thought that I would be watching the potential collapse of everything that I knew. The America as I saw it. I mean, everything I knew, my freedom, my rights, everything slowly being stripped away, and just everything crumbling before my eyes, and watching a complacent, apathetic society walking right into the fiery furnace without even knowing they're heading there.
Yep.
Just amazing.
It is crazy.
Do you guys think we can do anything to stop it?
Yeah. keep
Such a,
talking about our freedoms, I would actually suggest to each and every person that's going to listen to this and people here now, read the Constitution and read the Bill of Rights. Get that stuff under your belt. Memorize it, because that comes in very handy. It's very difficult to defeat, because we have seen this for damn near 100 years now. Actually, even more of them trying to defeat that. And they have not been very successful. And the more people that have that under their belt, memorized on your wall. I've got it on my wall. I got the Bill of Rights and I got the Constitution on my wall. I've actually got it on audio. I will listen to it while I'm at work. I listen to other things on work, but that's one thing. I like to have that because it reminds me of what my God-given rights are.
Yeah, like get a
Can
little
you hold on
pocket
for a
card that
second?
goes in your wallet.
Angela, do you have
Yes.
your what's that called? YouTube? Is your YouTube on right now? Because I think we have, yeah, we have a feedback loop happening. So mute your YouTube. I don't know if it's you. Maybe it's Haplo. Haplo, do you have your YouTube on?
Nope.
Let's see. I'm
I
on.
don't.
Yeah, I think it's you because I saw your little thing going up while he was talking.
I've got YouTube on the, but I'm going to sign out on there on my phone actually. So maybe that'll
Okay.
help.
Are you in front of your computer?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't hear it now.
I'm
I
on
don't
my
hear it now.
phone actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think we're good. Anyway, go ahead. I want to welcome.
Okay, it was probably me then
Welcome,
because I
Grim.
just turned my YouTube off. And I'm
Okay.
turning this.
Grim's your mic on?
Nope.
Is this thing working?
There
There
we
he
go.
is. All right. Welcome, Grim. How you doing?
Blinking. How's it going?
Good, good. We're talking about dualism today.
Say that one more time.
We're talking about dualism today. Do you have your YouTube on? I'm hearing a feedback loop.
No, I didn't have your video open. I just was checking my Googles and
Okay,
saw
it's
the
not you
hangout
then.
link
Yeah,
in
I
there.
think.
I didn't look at your video yet.
What's happening?
Yeah, I don't have another page open.
Has anyone defined dualism for the listening audience?
Would you like to?
I did it earlier.
Oh,
The definition of
okay.
dualism. It's the division of something
Sorry, my
conceptually
stereo was on, so I
into the
couldn't hear you.
opposed or
One
contrast
second.
aspect, or the state of being divided, or the quality or condition of being duality.
Does that help? View?
It helps me, but that I try to speak at third grade level, so everyone I understood what he was saying. You know what I mean? But for the audience that's listening, they may not.
Right. So then, do you want to explain it in like a third grade perspective?
I don't have the words at the moment.
Okay, well, basically, I would say the easiest, like, layman term perspective of dualism is, positive and negative. And then the representation of positive and negative at once, like, in a symbol, would be like the atom symbol. If you want to go into, like, philosophy, Chinese, you could do the yin-yang. I Ching, they have the dual sides. The same coin, dual sides. So it's like the representation of one thing, two sides of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always speak about dualism because me and my cousin we talk every day, and I believe that we must attack from within and from without. So I take that approach, and I try to see the approach in peaceful revolution and a violent revolution. I believe they're both necessary. You know what I mean? Aspect. I understand.
Okay. So, Grim, do you want to throw in your 2 cents on
There are a
dualism?
lot of ancient symbolisms that we're deriving this yin and yang, and this it's the same old. It's a very old motif. It's science, man. It's exactly like you described it. It's positive and negative, and it has to do with magnetics and polarity. Whole magnetic light. That's what they're. That's what they say when. Uh, in the beginning, there was the word. Well, you take whole magnetic light, and you vibrate it, and it creates matter. That's the way it is with the. Sorry, I just took a big toke. I'm trying to get it out of my system.
Get it out.
In the word, in the beginning, there was the word. That's vibration. That's every particle of matter has its own vibratory resonance. It vibrates in order to exist. So it's all part of science, man. And I think we need to, not you, but as a people, we need to maybe let go of some of that literal interpretation and start reading into the deeper meanings of what are in these ancient texts that religions are derived. So, yeah. How's that?
Agreed. I like
Spot
that.
on.
Yeah.
I have fun at these chats, man. This is addicting.
It is.
So what
I,
do we?
I agree.
So how do we go about? See, because I don't believe that we can destroy the system unless we have a system to replace the system, and the system is so big. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think about 70% of the system is a waste of money and time, and it's just put there to create division and disperse our energy. So,
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I think an attack for that would be changing our perception of what the system needs to be. See, we're in this paradigm of believing in a system that needs to be in place. Like we need this governing, ruling system. Like we're children. We can't actually take care of ourselves. And I think it's going to take a little while to retrain us into looking both ways before we cross the street instead of looking straight up at the green light or the red light. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I
We've
hear
been
you.
trained to stop
Yeah.
thinking for ourselves. So it's going to take a little time to train us to start thinking for ourselves again. But you have to
Yeah.
destroy that old system in order for the precipice to arise. We don't evolve unless there's a precipice, a reason to evolve. So
Yeah.
make us a reason to evolve. Cut that
You
shit
know,
off, and then we will evolve.
but you gotta admit, it's something seductive about not having to worry about certain things, and all you gotta do is go to work and be a drone for 30 years, and you can get a somewhat okay pension.
Right, I get you. But it's only
You get a gold watch.
seductive to the people who don't understand what's going on. That's why this
Oh
importance
yeah.
of knowledge, spreading this knowledge, is so important. Because then none of those people are gonna want. I mean, not and anybody near me is not gonna want to be comfortable being a jackass. Living off of others. One winner makes a million losers type of relationship with the world. I don't like those relationships with the world. I'm a winner, so the people around me, I want to make winners too. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel better because I made losers around me. You know what I mean? And I think that's the problem. The mentality has been switched away from Ubuntu. I just say that because it's as far back ancient a philosophy that's written down that I can think of in Africa about how people were living and should be living today. And its basic philosophy, it's if it isn't good for you, then it isn't good for me. Simple philosophy, dude. And I mean, I really don't think that we should have strayed away from the, but we have. So let's try to work it back into our children. Let's work it back into the system that way through our own kids. If you teach your kids something, they're gonna listen to you. They're not gonna listen to me. You know what I'm saying? So we need you to teach your kids this powerful message, because then they might have a problem going through school and they might have hard time because they're going to know that shit is behavioral modification and not for learning. They're going to know more than the other kids that are around them until they can spread their knowledge to the other kids around them, because that's how it'll work. So get it to your kids and let your kids get it out to the other kids. They're not going to listen to the other adults. They're not going to listen to me, uncle, whatever. We're too dumb and old, we don't know. What do we know? So yeah, teach your kids, man. Spread it out.
I totally hear you. I totally hear you, and I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
I'm in
difficult.
agreement with that too.
It's like, okay. It's like, for how many years?
But what about them?
Let's
What
say
about the cult's children? How do we stop them from getting their information? Because they're the ones that run the whole thing. So how do we stop them from indoctrinating their children into that form? Because they're the ones we deal with.
Who are they?
kill them all.
The cult. How do we stop the cult? How do we stop the cult's children? Because they're the ones that are indoctrinated. No, without killing. I mean, how do we stop the cult's children
Are you
from
saying without
being
killing
indoctrinated?
because it's illegal?
Because that's I call the cult of Saturn the cult,
Yeah, we're doing
like the Illuminati,
silly
if you will.
stuff.
But I don't use that term.
The people whose
So
children
so I'm just talking about those
look, the cult's children aren't even
those
in
people
your
that are
schools,
elites. They
They're not in your
indoctrinate
schools.
their children. You know,
Yeah,
let's
it's not real.
just say the elites. I refer
they're
to all the
real.
elites as cults.
I wouldn't even call it elites. I
Okay,
just call it
so they indoctrinate their children.
apathetic.
Well, yeah, but they're the ones that have
Children aren't mixing with your
the
children.
control currently.
Not until they become politicians. Their children aren't going in the same schools as your children. Not until they become politicians and shit, until they go to
Yeah.
college. It's not going to be going to school with your public school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it like that, man. But the problem you're going to have is with the apathetic parents, the lazy ones, the people like we have problems with today, who don't teach their kids anything, who pay their taxes, who believe in the system, who they're teaching their kids that shit.
Yeah, they just sit their kids in front of the TV and say, "Oh, go watch the TV because I don't want to deal with you."
Yeah, those are just the regular ass sheep, man. That's the majority. That's not a cult. That's the problem we're having.
But they
Those
don't have
numbers.
control. See, they don't have control. Those children
do have
end up
control.
just
That's
at like
the point.
McDonald's or
They don't realize they
something.
have control.
I'm talking about the people that are actually
Control is in our mind.
kind
They
of
don't have a mind.
programmed and
They-
formulated to like do something in the future. They're like structured. They're like set up to be something in the future from birth, from when they're 2. You know what I mean? They set it
We're
up
switching
ahead of
to
time.
you keep switching back to another form of people. I'm talking about your regular, average, everyday Joes who are working against you and unintentionally because of their apathetic nature. This is your major problem.
Oh,
If you can
yeah,
wake the
you're right.
people up, wait a minute, hold on, man. I'm just trying to give you an easier plan of attack so we don't have to keep popping pimples on heads of acne and all this shit. You gotta go after you. You gotta teach you. You gotta train you and teach you, man. Y'all don't even know anything yet. I mean, literally nothing. You guys are in here.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it.
But I'm not putting you down. I promise.
It's all part of awareness.
I'm not for that. I'm just saying this is part of that awareness is knowing that you're not actually aware yet, too. You know what I mean? And that's good. But I'm saying.
Oh, I understand. I'm only aware to a certain point.
This ain't personal, man. Not at all.
I try to
I'm
get
talking
more
general right
aware
now.
as I go.
Right. Let me just speak in general, not being personal. What I'm seeing in my mind is me going up against all the parents in the school because they're all sheeple. This is what I see, not you right now or anything. So don't internalize any of this. All right. It's me against the parents at school. This is an issue we've been having. Okay.
Gotcha.
The sheeple, they have a problem with the vaccines. No vaccines. They want vaccines, right? But my child doesn't need vaccines. And if they're so worried about, why are they worried about a disease that they've already been vaccinated for? And in reality, if they look at the CDC's report, the own website, the fucking kids who are vaccinated are actually contagious for a few days after being vaccinated. So it's my child that's being run a risk here. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But anyway, you got all these parents that believe that it's my child that's going to get them sick. Do you see what I mean? And so this is becoming a problem, and this apathy about them not ever listening or reading the CDC's reports, never looking at the ingredients that goes into their children, just being too busy and too bothered. Oh, I believe the physicians. I believe. Well, the word believe and fuck them all up and for the rest of their life. My point being is this is the kind of shit that you got to work out for because they have the power. They could easily just learn this shit tomorrow and then shut it down tomorrow. But see, they don't. So the elites, they throw some shit out there, and yeah, we want to be mad at them. But look at all the millions of people gobbling it up like dummies when it's easily verifiable that it's not supposed to be gobbled up. So the issue is if we got to teach the people around us not to gobble it up, and then we can go after somebody. Other than that, they're going to be too busy gobbling it up, like you said, over here with the comfortable, being too comfortable with what they're doing or enjoying it, too much and all this kind of shit. Well,
Okay, but to add to that, how do you get people to get apathetic instead of non-apathetic? Because they're
other way. You mean opposite? Yeah, apathetic, and lazy, not paying attention, not doing anything about a situation when they
How do we stop them from being apathetic? That's what I mean.
By leading by example. You lead by example. You don't force anybody to do anything. You just do it in front of them. That's what I've been doing.
That's it.
I start my garden and people start coming. What are you doing? Community garden. Well, why didn't you contact me? Well, I figured you'd fucking see me doing it, and then here you are. Look at you.
Go.
You know what I mean? That's how you do it. They want to do it when they see you do it, and you be happy doing it. Put a smile on your face. If you ain't happy that day. Yeah.
It's just like the Bible would say, the world is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. So the world is waiting to see us actually do something as opposed to just saying it, all the time. And I agree with you. We got to put forth the actual effort to save the people that don't want to listen, because it's going to end up just like Independence Day, when they flash the blue light and everybody up there holding their signs, cheering right there in Ferguson somewhere, and then your ass gets blasted because you wasn't paying attention. But am I my brother's keeper? I would say yes. So we gotta do this right here, and we gotta do our outside community work. We cannot be afraid to speak to people. I'm breaking some ice myself because I'm a shy guy, but I'm working on telling people about looking into the skies. Check out about what you're eating at McDonald's and Burger King. Look at what they feeding us. We gotta just put it out there, and then we gotta stop eating this stuff. We can't be saying, well, you can't be eating from McDonald's and then I catch you eating a burger or something.
That's right. Why with one in your mouth? Exactly.
Does anyone know? Does anyone know anyone that's on government assistance such as food stamps?
Of course. Half my family, man. I mean, we grew up on this shit, trying to fucking, learn what's going on in the world. It's a busy rat race, man.
Yeah, because I had to. Yeah, I know someone who was on it, and I was trying to write them a grocery list of stuff they can buy to stay healthier, and for how much
they can't buy none of that shit.
Man, it's difficult.
They can't buy no healthy stuff with food stamps. I already looked all up and down in the whole world. It's been like that for 15 years.
Yeah.
You
can go in your yard.
It's healthy is a lie. It'll say some bullshit on it and it ain't.
Yeah, like diet, right? Like diet. That shit's crazy. Everybody around my world drinks diet because they think that, it's not as bad as Coke or whatever, and I'm like, it's worse. It's worse. Don't drink that. Like, if you're gonna drink shit, drink the Coke.
You're so right. I literally thought if I told them that E. coli takes a poop and then they scoop the poop up or E. coli. It is E. coli, right? That's what aspartame is, poop from E. coli. It is, man. It's the weirdest thing. It's a byproduct from one of those nasty, I think it's E. coli or something.
It's like a fungus. E. coli is like a fungus, I believe.
Well, it's a bacteria. It's in your gut.
Yeah.
It's in your poop. It eats poop, dude.
Okay. It's like a
how sweet is that?
Like a parasite, basically, right?
I mean, that's your natural sweetener, because it is natural. It is poop from bacteria. It's nature's best.
Right.
Yeah. You can go in your yard and find more things healthy in your yard than you can in the grocery store. And, like, my thought is, like, they brainwash us even to the extent to where your grass starts getting a little high, and you got to cut it because it's got to be perfect for every fucking body else to look at.
Wait till you see
if your grass starts growing a little more, You get dandelions, which are totally healthy. I mean, even pine needles are one of the most healthy things in the world. And, you know, why aren't they teaching us that?
They are.
Because they don't
They aren't.
know.
Right.
Yeah,
You learn survival. If you take survival courses, you learn that shit. You learn how to eat certain bark of certain trees and pine needles and all kinds of interesting stuff. You walk out there and you realize you're in a fucking buffet. You didn't even know it.
Yeah, like I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina, and like that's like a way of life. I mean, you go and you eat out of the shit in your yard.
Pun intended.
Exactly. But they call it weeds, like plantain. You find in your yard, they call it a weed, and it's one of the most medicinal plants on earth. It's the weed that has
Where you
the
live in Puerto Rico? You finding plantains in your yard?
No, plantain, not like green plantain.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were talking about plantain. You know the banana-looking things from
Yeah, it's
Puerto
not
Rico.
plantain. You could probably go in your yard right now or in the crack of a sidewalk, wherever you live, and find it. It has vertical ribs on the leaves. Look it up. Like it is one of the
They got
best.
purple flowers on them.
I think so. Yeah, like when you were a kid.
It's also a source of DMT, right?
Yeah, like when you were a kid, you would tie it together
Never
and
heard of
pop it off and shoot the thing, the little, bud. And we mow it down, and it's like one of the best things in the world besides hemp and, marijuana.
Huh.
Look it up, plantain.
Trip.
Dandelions are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I eat dandelion extract.
Yeah, like me and my little girl made dandelion jelly the other day, and it's like honey. It's like honey. Bees pollinate dandelions more than any other plant, so it tastes like honey. And it's so healthy. So healthy. The flower, the leaf, the root, all is edible. All is medicinal. The dandelion, they're every fucking where. My yard has millions of them.
Wait, is that the little yellow thingies?
Yeah.
See, this comes out of your...
Yeah.
This is from the freezer, I mean. It's from my freezer. But yeah, this is all the stuff you're talking about in the yard. It's got dandelion extract, all kinds of grasses, all kinds of good stuff. You put a scoop of it in some water, 2 scoops in some water, and drink it.
Even acorns. You can make flour out of
Raw
acorns.
organic green superfood.
Native Americans and their acorn uses.
Freshly juiced greens, 6 times more concentrated than whole leaf grass powders. Contributes 34 natural dense greens, sprouts, and veggies. Your diet deliciously refreshing raw organic apple taste.
Okay, so now that we know we have to get our diets in check and the food that we eat, because that will puts our mind in a state where we can actually do stuff, what would be the next thing we do?
Kick the fluoride right off the pump. You got to get that shit off the water so you're not bathing in it, because osmosis is much more powerful than we're giving it credit for. Just because you're not drinking it doesn't mean you're not getting it. If you're taking a bath in hot water and fluoride's in the water, it's soaking right into your bloodstream from your skin. It's called osmosis.
Yeah, your skin is the living organism.
Yeah, your epidermis is the largest organ on your body, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, how do we do that?
Well, you get over here to where I'm at, because I'm already ready, and
right.
I'm not kidding. And I need about 40 people, maybe 50 people. We already shut down the Nestle bottling company for a day, and that got us attention to where we could start sending out these flyers to shut down the Nestle bottling company until they start paying for the water that they're taking out of our lake and making us pay higher prices for it, and we're getting called on a drought. And they're jerking 20% of the water out of the lake for free a year, for free, and we got to pay for it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then they try and sell us their fucking bottled water with fluoride in it, like it's worth more now, y'all. Here, we put it in a bottle and added some death to it for you, dumbasses. I'm tired of it, dude. Yeah, so that's how you do shit. You take your pitchforks and literally go walk out over there with your fucking pitchforks. I'm not saying guns and shit. It's just to make a statement. Yeah.
It's metaphysics.
And yes, some of us will be having guns. I mean, some of us do.
Right, right.
That's the way it is, and it's legal, and we're gonna have them, and we're gonna be there to protect
That's
each other.
gonna be
That needs to
real
be
shit.
known.
Yeah, you better have them.
That needs to be
'Cause
known.
they
This
got
isn't
'em.
good.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's one thing
Not
about
about
my
that they
city
have
in
'em. I'm
Baltimore.
not even pointing at them. I'm saying it's protection for whatever we do. It's our right to protect ourselves in whatever we do. You know, it doesn't matter. And we're supposed to be able to travel unmolested. All of this pulling me over in the highway kind of shit for some checkpoint kind of stuff, I need to drive me around a caravan of motherfuckers because we're driving through your checkpoints from now on with a caravan, a dump truck
Yeah.
in the front. I'm tired of your shit. We're tired of it, man. We're dump trucking you the fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
Right.
We got a bulldozer,
Me
dump
and my
truck, come get
roommate.
that shit. I got boys working at the fucking BFI garbage dispensary ready to throw their jobs down right now and run a dump truck for me. What's happening? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
What's
me and
up?
my roommate have
Motherfuckers.
totally talked about the same thing. Like, let's just get in the car, make sure your shit's straight. You're not carrying any weed or nothing, right? You got to be straight on point. Get in the fucking car. They have to publicly tell you where these checkpoints are, and go do it. Go fucking call them out.
More than
It's
call them out. I'm talking way more than call them out. It's make a fucking stand on this shit. Stand on their head with it.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be
Well,
seen
that's
that
what I
way.
mean.
Who else is going to say, well, I guess it's not, I guess it is fucked up because look how mad they are about it. I guess it is fucked up because these apathetic people aren't waking up. You're not mad enough about this situation that's going on around you, and you're not smacking them in the face going, hey, wake up, you fucking stop watching football, dude, you're trapped. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Wake the fuck up. You can't even shake them awake, you know what I mean?
Nope.
Well, they're too busy looking
Get 'em
for
out on
Kim
the show like that.
Kardashian's ass. You know?
Right.
Quit looking at
That's
Kim.
a big ass.
They're just looking
Yeah,
for.
a
They're
big
just waiting.
fake ass.
They're on some sort of time frame, waiting for the next like show that they're waiting. They're already in the middle of watching. They're waiting for their characters to do whatever they're gonna do and shit. That's all. That's what they think. That's what their minds are. Other than going to work, you know what I mean? There's like nothing really there. And then just talking about that shit that the characters are doing to the people in the show
I
or the
know.
movie or whatever.
Imagine how I feel when if I play Xbox with a kid, that's from the flea market. Just so you see him online, yeah, sure. And I see him online. I play Xbox with him, for like an hour. Like that's the most I ever could sit down and play that shit, right? And it's like Call of Duty or whatever, and I'm done, right? So next weekend he comes up to the store and it's all he can talk about is Xbox. I'm like, kid, we're never doing that again. If that's how it did it, if it put that much Xbox in your brain, like 1 hour. Made you think about it for 2 weeks straight. I mean, really, you shouldn't be doing that shit, man. You got to really think about something else.
Welcome, Wolf. How you doing, man?
Good to be here.
All right, good to see you. How you doing, man? Yeah, because it gets stuck in their brains, like, for way too long. If we could interest them in something else, let something really interesting get stuck in their brains, oh my gosh, it would be a wonderful world, wouldn't it?
But this type of information we talking is it's kind of fearful to the new hearers.
And it is because it shakes up their comfort bias. But if you explain it to them, I understand we have a comfort bias. That means like we're biased against things that shake us up. We'll fight it, even if it's perfect truth. We'll fight it because it's bothering us. and if you explain that's a natural reaction and that they'll have to be aware that they're going to do that, they might be able to have a better chance at accepting new information because they'll be aware of their own behavioral malfunction.
The same thing happened to us may not happen to them because some of us had an awareness or an awakening through experiences, and some of us just got the knowledge and woke up. But some people still want to hold on to their cars, their TVs, their jobs.
None of us are woken up. None of us woke up. I want to put it straight. That's a false sense of pride and a false sense of comfort when you think you're already there. You woke up. We're awakening. We're aware. We're getting more aware. But
I like being aware better than y'all get what I'm saying. As a stepping stone.
I understand what you're saying, but the verbiage, the new folks, they're gonna take it like I just said and feel comfortable. Yeah, I'm awake.
Right. They would think they got it and find out that we know we don't have it. We know we still.
We're always searching, right?
Right, exactly. But they gotta find that out on their own.
That's what I mean. you and I, we understand what we mean by that, but the newcomers, they don't. We got to switch the
Right.
verbiage.
We gotta switch the verb. I feel you. I feel you. Change the dialogue for them.
Because it got switched. Look, they got little infiltrators who switch language and then become like, coin terms and make them fancy. And then the paranoid. When did paranoid become a bad word? You're supposed to be proud to be paranoid. The definition for paranoia is having the ability to connect seemingly unconnected things. What's bad about that? Think about it.
Right.
It's having a fucking ability that other people can't do. It's a good thing. But see, somebody jumped in and was like, you're one of those paranoid, schizophrenic types. They add it to another word, add it to another meaning, and then it becomes a parallel word, a double speak.
Well, that's
right.
that's the whole thing
That's
behind
duality.
Television and
It's another
what they
form of
do.
the duality
Television.
subject that you guys were touching on earlier. It's another
Yeah.
form of duality. It's in language, it's in art, it's in math. It's what Einstein does to us with his black hole theories and his field equations, because in the same terminology, he takes the Rick equation and then turns it into, because I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's the model of the universe that has no source and no matter. Okay, and that's what they're basing everything in black holes and everything on, right? Well, if you take he takes that math and then words it as outside of body, which implies source, okay? So he implies source with math that implies no source. So he's already trying to confuse you to pull ether out of the equation. He doesn't want to tell you that they already know this shit. Back then, those guys are just gatekeepers. They work for the elite. Now, when I say that they were technologically advanced, I mean they were technologically advanced. When I said the boy has his own money, I mean the boy has his own money. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. They were really technologically advanced. You think the pyramids were like HHO generators or some childish high school thing? No, fuck no. They were wireless electrical generators. Way more advanced than a fucking HHO generator. When the guys try to retrofit that shit on there, it shits on it. And I get so pissed off because I understand the goddamn magnetics and the math. I understand the electromagnetic material that they use. I understand the pink granite is an irradiated stone, and you can travel induction can travel along the air around it. It doesn't need water or a wire inside of it or anything like that. It is the wire. It is it. There's a lot to know here. There's millions of megalithic structures all over the planet. They all have electromagnetic qualities and sound vibratory qualities. Kinetic sound theory, all this kind of stuff all adds up. So, I mean, Atlantis was the whole planet. Atlantis. It was an ocean planet. The whole thing, man. Atlantis. We got to understand what we're dealing with. Our Saturn was our sun. Okay, that's why there's worshippers of Saturn. It's not worshippers. They're just remembering Saturn as the sun. Now, the followers become worshippers because they don't even remember what they're doing. That's what all this, and it happens on purpose.
Exactly.
Leaders set them to make new followers to those things, to make all the confusion out of what it is. The reality of all what it is cosmology. The Saturn was our sun, proto-Saturn. You guys need to look this stuff up. It's real. All the symbolisms, all that stuff you see on cave drawings, like before prehistoric times, they found cave drawings and blah, blah. What's before prehistoric times? We're millions of years old. We have footprints with 65 million year old extinct dinosaurs. Human footprints. Walk upright humans. We got shoe prints older than that. Shoe prints. Boot prints, just like with tracks on them and all that.
Hey, so that brings to mind the dinosaur perception. If the dinosaurs were here when when we were going around Saturn, then that would kind of make sense why the dinosaurs are so big.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe why we were big too.
Yeah, exactly.
We were all big.
Yeah, totally big too.
Bigger, but it makes more sense to understand it under a pressure term, with pressure. Because in larger pressure areas, it seems like you get bigger fish for some reason. The bigger the aquarium, the bigger the fish grows.
And the Earth was bigger at that time, supposedly, as well.
So imagine that on our scale. I mean, everything is pretty simple if you just apply it to logic. You know what I mean? You don't try to go mysterious out there on somewhere in Libra and try to tell people that life is all a hologram and all this kind of shit, and you're going to find a lot of answers. But if you keep on jumping down these old, intentional rabbit holes, they're just fanciful. They're there to get us away from the truth. A
They
lot of this stuff.
misdirection.
Sir?
I said it's misdirection.
Yeah, it's watch the hand trick. Watch the hand,
Yeah.
and then they're sitting there punching you in the kidneys.
Yeah, because in misdirection, you will miss the direction. That's the whole word.
Yeah.
It's the misdirections.
Yeah.
Now,
You
do
look
you
at
guys think that
the hand.
all, do you guys think that, like, we innately as human beings know this, and that's why the dumbing down and all this is so much a focus on what whoever, this whatever does,
Yeah,
because they
definitely.
know that we all know this just through, whatever, just in our being, we know that we are connected more than what they're telling us. Do
Yeah,
you know what I'm
it's a,
trying to say?
yeah,
I
absolutely.
definitely do.
It's a reasonable. Oh, sorry, Grim.
No, I talk too much. I really do. I pick up every question and talk. Go. Sorry.
No, it definitely makes sense because why else would we have plants and fungi that actually pretty much only exist to just give us knowledge, to connect us with that hidden world that's just a different dimensional plane right here. And you'll find that back in history, a lot of these things were actually sacred to all kinds of cultures because we need to know about that knowledge. We need to know about what's beyond physicality because we ourselves are not physical beings, and that is exactly why we do know this intuitively, because it's almost like through the generations of conditioning and throughout life that we just become addicted to physicality, this entire world, and it's not a bad thing, like we have to experience who we are, through, I don't know, whatever you like to do, surfing or whatever, and I think that they do know we have this wisdom. You look at things like cellular memory, and like even the frickin' genes. When you activate a lot of these things, you'll find that people actually unlock higher abilities, higher senses that are pretty much natural. That they've just not been stimulated at all by the society. In fact, quite the opposite. That's why we see toxins everywhere. Exactly. That's why they try to toxicate us everywhere,
Can I add
because
something?
we can, we can, change all kinds of things. We can do anything. We never have. Yeah, go ahead, Grim. Sorry.
I think we have, but there's a cycle.
Yeah.
And cycle. This is a theory, not like, I'm not going to say this is like a fact, something like that. But there's a very good chance that through observation, we're in a binary with Sirius. All right, a binary star system. We're, and like I said, it's a theory, but it's a very good theory, because when you look at Sirius, you see the precession of the stars. Everything else goes around and around, behind it, except Sirius stays there, like we're going right at it and right from it, and everything else is moving around. You understand what I'm saying? So it's showing us that it's a binary. That's what it's showing us through observation. Now, I'm not saying it is because I haven't seen it. We're getting closer. You know what I mean? I'm not even sure rockets work in space. So I got a lot of thinking on that. But anyway, make a long story short, the theories are that this time period of our revolutions around Sirius open up an age, a golden age of understanding and knowledge. And I think that might correlate to what we're talking about, because we may be retuning to our higher brain functions as we get closer to that new frequency of the other star. All right? And this is the thing, like, we may have been tuned to that in the beginning, and now that we're separated from it, we've separated from our DNA. That's why we have so many strands of disconnected and stuff. And then as we get closer, I think we're going closer to it now. That's what it's saying. That's what science is trying to tell us as well, that we're getting closer to Sirius. So now they may be spraying us and keeping us dumbed down and going through this amping it up thing because they know that we're going to reconnect to those higher brain functions, and we might do it too soon and awaken too quickly and then overthrow the whole system and then become in control of ourselves from now on.
Yeah.
And I think we're an ant farm to them, and they're still an advanced civilization, and they live on another part of the globe that they won't even allow us to view. And they tell us the planet is only so big when I believe it's probably more than twice as big as what they've given us. I'm serious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
I've driven the whole country of the United States by myself. I know it's not that damn big. 3 days, dude, takes you to get from one beach to the next.
Yeah, I find it incredible though that you know, we can change our genes by mere belief. You know, we have these proteins that just kind of cover all the DNA in your body, and that can be suppressed, that can be activated, all depending on, you know, what your belief is. You know, and that connects a lot with emotion as well, because well, you just look at, you know, how your heart interacts with your brain. It sends neuropeptides all the way to all the brain functions, which pretty much creates your reality. So what kind of emotional state you're in, that actually has an impact on how you see the world. You know, and it's amazing because not many people are taught this. This is just completely whitewashed in every way. And it's like, oh, we're just looking at this, you know, we're investigating, still don't know. Bullshit. They know everything already. They just don't want to tell you all the stuff.
Yeah, that's why Facebook controls your fucking emotions.
Exactly. That's why the fear is here, because if you see fear everywhere, if you're in that state, well, then the world appears like it's crazy. And you go outside, you know, what's the chances of you being murdered by somebody? Very little. You know, you think like the world is a hateful place by movies and terrorist attacks every day. You look outside, there's nothing going on, just regular people, you know?
Not mine. Maybe in your neighborhood.
Kids don't even stay outside anymore. I mean, not. I'm sure they do. Maybe in the city. I don't know. I don't live like in the inner city. I live in the country, so you never see kids on the street. I mean, you used to see kids when I was a kid. We were always in the middle of a road somewhere, playing with toads or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's
the
they're
thing. Nowhere. They're all inside.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's, I mean, the video games. I mean, it's crazy. I'm not saying that induces violence or anything like that, but they just want you in this state because you can be controlled when you're in fear. It's the whole point. You know, you're looking in fear.
It does induce violence though, because like, you know, when you start speaking violently, you can tell when a person is going to start getting in trouble. Like when you have kids, you'll see they test it out. They test out their new angers here and there to try and see the reactions of them. So you know what they're fixing to do. You know they're fixing to go test that shit out at school and get in trouble. So you got to curve that shit. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Like, I kind of lost myself because it gets personal for kids.
I know, man. I mean, like, it's amazing because they desensitize you to all this stuff. And
so
they less feeling.
Thank you very much. They start with the, you know, fucking kill that motherfucker. You know, and then they look around, see how you reacted, and be like, yeah, why don't you curve that down a bit, buddy? You know, it's just a video game. We don't need you talking like that. Oh, yeah, sure, Dad, you know, and start playing again. Son of a fucking bitch. Like, really? So you know for damn sure you're going to do this. I'm automatically ready to just turn your game off. You know, I don't need to hear you talking like that. It's like watching child porn or something. It's ridiculous. You guys are kids. I don't need little kids cussing and shit around me. It's gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not so much like the behavior, but it's like, why are they showing us the most grotesque images in TV shows and movies and stuff? Just on regular television. Like any kid can flip a channel and see somebody bawling their eyes out. You know?
Swearing and cussing and acting like he's violent. Yeah. He's gonna kill motherfuckers. And, you know, hearing a little kid say stuff like that really turns you off from wanting to have anything to do with it. Like, you know, let me throw this game in the garbage, dude. I know I just spent $200 on it, but damn, dude, I did the wrong thing. Snap. You know?
And people wonder why nobody changes.
Never heard him talk like that in Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Right about that. Grand Theft Auto turns your children into killers. Straight like that.
It just is. That's how serial killers start by torturing little animals. You know, serial killers start by, you know, Now they start by video games.
See, I actually disagree with that. I used to be an avid video gamer. I know. I don't play games at all anymore. I used to be a pretty hardcore video gamer, and I don't think it's
fucking with you, Ben.
I don't think it's at all a healthy thing to do every day and like live your life by. But I did notice a shift back, like 7-8 years ago. There weren't the level of children that there are today, and it was more of an adult themed kind of thing. Now it's like a babysitter. They buy their kids this Xbox, and now they don't have to pay a babysitter. They've got their kids over in that.
Right.
But I don't think that
It never for a second thought it was just going to be for adults, dude. That's why they put the pretty little colors on the packages.
Well, yeah. I mean, kids it's great to market to kids because parents want to please their children. I mean, that's. Yeah. But I don't believe that it breeds serial killers or anything. I think people already have that mind. I think you're kind of born with that personally, or either you live some
behaviors, man. If you start just relaxing and doing certain behavior, look, you are the company you keep.
I personally wanted them to make like some sort. I mean,
humans are naturally like chameleons.
Currently,
you don't behave the way the people around you behave. That's why if you surround yourself with dummies, you start thinking like a dummy. You surround yourself with better pool players, you play better pool. These are all real things. They're sayings for a reason. They're not sayings because they sound fucking cool. They're real. They're for a reason. You are the company you keep, man. You are what you eat. You play better pool with better pool players. Steel sharpens steel. You understand? So if you're gonna sit there and play video games that create the mentality in your mind that you constantly need to kill somebody and be violent, what makes you think, no, that's not going to make me just think that I should maybe punch somebody in the face instead of talk to them next time when I get angry?
A lot of that environmental influence actually goes back to childhood, like before you're even 4 years old. So after that point, I mean, it's
agreed, Wolf.
On somebody. I was watching this guy that he was a Harvard professor, and he's doing a study on violence and looking for the quote-unquote violence gene. And
that's ridiculous, man. They're behaviors. People who try to
but
you have behavioral genes. They are doctors who want to give you ADD and put you in.
Listen, man. Like, if I can explain, like he basically said that it's a bunch of bunk because you'll have people that have this quote-unquote gene, but they don't violent. They're not violent, and people that don't have it. Yeah, because
people are moshing all day with no music. No, it's when the music comes on sets them into the mosh pit mode.
Yeah.
Well, to play devil's advocate, I didn't meet my dad until I was 18, and I never was around him to learn any of his traits or characteristics. But my mom would constantly, I'd do something and be like, God, this is just like your fucking dad, and it's like, so you can, I think that you can pick up some things.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like I used to play like
maybe
the
your
original
mom
Xbox.
makes that reaction in a lot of people with her behavior. You ever think of that?
It was very okay. It was very
seriously, no. Like I'm making a real point.
Set up like early on. What are you talking about?
Maybe his mom, like other women and other men, all people, they behave certain ways, and other people react to them in kind. And maybe you're just reacting the way your father would have reacted because that's a forced type of reaction that's necessary when your mother behaves the way she did towards you and him, whatever those ways are, badly or goodly, I don't know. But I'm saying, you know what I mean?
I understand what
condition you into behaving a certain way, and then see that person can say, "Oh, you act just like that other person." Yeah, but because you fucking created the situation, just like you created it for that other person. You got to think maybe she might not be the judge of what it is that is happening there when she's inside of the situation, maybe creating.
Well, think about it like this too. I definitely know I've picked up like personality traits from people in my family. It's like it's just the same way you receive aesthetical differences or aesthetical like things that are similar. I do believe that there has to be some connection between like a serial, Charles Manson. Both of his parents were like, his mom was a whore and his dad was like,
right.
He's a bastard child. Look at what happened to him. I do believe that there is nature versus nurture. But have you seen the study on the wolves in Siberia, the silver No, the silver foxes, yeah, where they've been doing this study for 60 years, breeding the most violent foxes with the most violent foxes, and the most docile ones with the most docile ones. And over 60 years, now they've actually got it to where the ones they bred docile, they can actually take them out and pick them up. They're almost domesticated, and they've started even taking on things like dogs do, like with their more puppy-like traits. So you know, there is something to it, anyways.
Yeah, dogs and humans are really a lot alike too. So they're pretty much, you could pretty much basically just do that, make a comparison, and then we'll leave it alone. Can you let that cat in? Screaming outside. And of course I'm being facetious because I thought that was ridiculous. I don't mean to be rude, but whatever.
No, but I mean, if you look at dogs in general, I mean, we are very similar, but we created their psyche in a way. They aim to please us. That's their whole job and purpose, is domesticated dogs anyway. But they started out as wolves, and down the line we domesticated them into these pets that we have now. So I do believe that there's a little bit of both. Yes, you can behaviorally have things that are created in your life, or you know, even choices, but you can also have, I believe, a predisposition to things also.
Right, but for you to make an appointment like that, it's an assertion, because fathers or doctors don't just become doctors because their fathers were doctors. All right?
No, I agree.
Look, if you don't know your father is a doctor and you live in a poor neighborhood with your mother your whole life, and you become a fucking drug dealer, do you understand my point?
But I see that as different.
Bro, this is, you said the most famous thing you could think of. Yeah, his mom was a whore and he was a this, so he became a that. Do you really know that, or was he a government agent sent to go do a thing and got patsied out? I mean, do we even know the truth on that situation?
I mean, I've looked into it. Yeah, you know, I don't
bring up. I
know,
again,
I'm not using it as a literal example. I'm playing more of a devil's advocate.
I know. I took it that way, though. You know, because that was a literal. It was your argument to what I said. So
well, sure. I mean, because I'm just trying to throw out. I'm not saying that you're totally wrong or totally right. Just as I'm not totally wrong or right. I think that somewhere in the middle is.
No, I understand. We have memory, cellular memory, and we can tell with the tapeworm. They know which direction to go, even after you chop the other half of them. You know what I'm saying? And their babies are born, and they're still going through the maze properly after the slug trail was cleaned. You know what I mean? So they're not. I understand that, but the point is, we're not all going to be what our people are. Like if we have a person who's a serial killer because of some shit that create, you're not born a serial killer in every aspect. Some of these people kill people, and they're not born killers. You're creating it through the experiences in life. You're creating it through the getting hugs from your mommy, through the video games that just desensitized murder as if it was a game, through the music that said maggots are raining like blood, you know, from the fucking all the shit that's going on. And yeah, man, you can't just say that doesn't have an influence. I can see people start playing fucking music, and the next thing you know, they're fighting in the house because of this music. You turn off the music, and the
fight stops.
It's like, wow, this is weird. You put on some different music, and they start playing. You put on some. It depends on the vibratory friction of what's going on and how it resonates with them and their personal electrical senses, and that's all part of your knowledge. Knowing,
but
everything.
Again, you're born with a certain.
You are influenced by these things. Even the noises that these video games make, they're influential, like that.
To an extent, yes.
They have psychologists that work on these games. You got to look further into this. They pay billions of dollars to psychological analysts and fucking behavioral modification, you know, all this shit to make sure that those video games work on your kid. Now, what are they doing?
There's some of an extent of that, but again, I do believe that
one of the most heavily uncharted waters by truthers that there are should be very well looked into. I think because it deals with our kids directly, right? That's the babysitter. What are they doing to our kids?
Well, that's the parents' choice, though. They don't have to buy their kids the video game. I would.
Oh shit, man! But hey, how are we gonna wake them up to it if we don't fucking point out the problem in the first place, and detail it and draw it up? Show them in their face because we know we got to.
think about it like this, though. Okay, like with all this symbolism and TV and all that, like you can point it out all day long, but then I see it kind of
symbolism.
into
I'm
it.
pointing out, why do they need behavioral modification?
Yeah,
Unless,
but people just get annoyed when you point it out. I mean,
Right.
that's what happens to me.
yeah, pointing it out.
Yeah, you begin to sound more obnoxious the more you speak to them.
Yeah, the symbols and all that, I don't go there with them because if you don't have an understanding as to what the symbols are yourself, you shouldn't start talking about the symbols to somebody else, how they're boogeyman shit and all that, when you're really just blowing it all out. Now, when the real guy comes in and tells you that the symbols are there to mark the directions and this, the way that the sound waves go, and electrical magnetics, and they're really math that explains science. They're not boogeyman symbols. Then maybe you can grab their attention, but if you go up there with this boogeyman shit, yeah, it just doesn't make sense that it would be that. Even though a lot of people believe in it and they even practice it and stuff, because people are fucking stupid. They're gonna do a lot of dumb shit. You know what I mean? A lot of dumb people in the world, bro. They all do a lot of dumb shit. But there's only a few smart ones, and we're trying to tell you not to go the dumb routes.
Well, see, that's kind of I have to say though that just because that you believe in spiritualism and even practice it does not at all make you stupid or anything. Like I believe that intelligence and spiritualism can go hand in hand, 100%.
Now you would take it what I said that way. Really.
I wasn't trying to take
because I got the comments from you on that other shill account when you were talking about how I was fucking troll account, whatever. When you were talking about how I was fucking hating all Christians and shit, which is a ridiculous lie as well. So come on, man. Don't try the sideways attacks. You know me better than that. I'm too smart.
I'm not trying to sideways attack you, dude. I was frustrated. I was frustrated a couple weeks ago, but I'm good now, dude. I'm not at all angry, man. I'm chill.
Hey, you know what? But I will say the predictive programming that is on Grand Theft Auto is serious. I just got my game back a week ago, and I put it on last night, and I joined the crew. And it's this guy from East Baltimore, because I'm from West Baltimore. So as soon as I join his page or join his game, he at war. So I go to the strip club, and he mad at me because I'm in there watching the girls dance, and he getting shot at. I mean, just like you want me to come outside and shoot and get killed with you because you beefing with some people on the game already. And I just joined your crew. It's like I walked right into a fucking war. And I'm not a killer like that. They knew me from the old crew. They would always say, Urban, he don't really get down like that. Like, right, because I wear suits. I'm in the driving cars. I'm in the picking up girls. I do other things on the game, but they turn you into a killer regardless, So that's just what I'm saying. It's just real.
Now, are we talking about the video game?
Yeah, just on the video game level, because you may not, like I said, I get on the game because I want to enjoy drive cars fast.
Oh, yeah.
But other people want to kill.
Yeah,
it's all about getting bodies.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I tried to play it the way you're saying because I didn't want to be the bad guy. I don't even like that shit. I was just trying to fill out the game, see what was there, and it's like, my stepson started playing next to me, and he's just like, yeah, you do this, he's slapping the bitch, he's doing it. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that. Oh, I didn't even want to play with him. I didn't even like him. I'm like, I don't even like you, bro. I realize I don't even like you, man. You're a rude little fucker. But as a joke,
And what I'm saying is you got Xbox Live, right? You got Xbox Live where we can talk to each other. So I'm in the group chat, and he like pretty much shitting on me, and I just joined this crew. He like this guy in the club, and I'm out here beefing, and he ain't even coming out here to help me. So it was like when I came out there, all of his other crew members start shooting at me. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. How do you think I feel? How do you think I feel when 4 on my show last night comes in screaming and yelling at me because I'm not telling people to stop picking on him in my chat room?
I saw that. That was so hilarious.
Are you kidding, bro? It's my job to police shit. I'm a free speech advocate. I'm going to go in there and police my chat room? No. If you're a big boy, right? If you can't handle yourself in the chat room, bro, please leave. Don't even worry about it then. Go somewhere where it's calm and relaxing for you in your life. You don't need to be in a situation like that. You're in control of it, bro. Push a button. You're gone. It's easy.
It comes a time to be a warrior, And it's a time and place for everything, I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This isn't it, and that wasn't it either.
Hey, Grim.
Yeah.
What's your take on as above, so below?
It's beautiful. It's the perfect explanation for things. That's when I was a little kid. I made an atom for a science project. First, it was the solar system. Excuse me, and then I didn't like think about it or anything. I had another project due, and it was of an atom, and I was fucking off, and I didn't do anything because I never really needed to as a kid. I just knew shit. I read the book, and then you can ask me whatever you want for the rest of the year. I got it. And so I came up to the time, and I walked up, and I told her I didn't make my project yet because I couldn't afford to get the parts, the materials back. You know, I needed to get another. I grew up poor, man, so it was a pretty good excuse. I had holes in my shoes. I knew I could use it. My mom would have gone and gotten me the dowel sticks and the things, but I kind of put her under the bus on it. And I was like, but I don't need that. I just need my old project. So I grabbed my old project from the back room, came out and pulled a couple of fucking planets off of it and handed it back to her. And there you go, water molecule. You know, stuck the other end, put the dowels in a different place, and now H2O. Easy as pie. Here. Had a little handful of planets in my other hand. And I got a B, but it was 2 minutes, and I did it. You know, it was very thoughtful. And my point is, yeah, I saw it that way as a little kid. Yeah, as above, so below. The atom is the solar system. The electrons are the fucking planets, and stars, and protons and neurons. Neurons. Yeah, if you go farther into the situation, it looks like neurons and shit. But yeah, and then I wrote a short story when I was 12. It was A Pebble in the Shoe. It was called. So I thought this whole thing that we were all just a pebble in the shoe of a creature beyond the size of our imagination,
Yeah,
That's how I
totally.
could explain it when I was a kid,
Thank you. What about you, Truth? What's your view on the as above, so below perception?
Well, I think that it can be taken many different ways. I think it reflects, like Grim was saying, it does reflect out to the solar system into the tiniest molecule, and it's the reflection of outside and inside. But again, I do have a spiritual side to it, and you can apply it just the same to that. Whereas, as what you do in this physical daily life, it also goes into your dreaming life and to your death and beyond. It's all, everything is truly connected. Because I noticed you were talking about dualism. Well, I personally don't believe in dualism. I believe that everything is one, that we create dualism with our minds. And that is, again, the as above, so below, because as above, so below is really one thing that is a reflection of itself. And that's personally how I see it, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. How about you, Wolf? What's your opinion on, or your perspective of the as above, so below?
I think it's a really interesting concept, and just look around you. You'll see that the same patterns for organisms and beings and different types of aspects of the same thing are seen on the macroscopic and on the microscopic level. Like this concept of the atomic model, very much like the solar model, very much like the cells in your body all have consciousness just like you, and they have organs just like you. We see that there is a unified concept in everything that exists, and that's such a powerful thing. It's almost like humanity is the vector between a lot of what we see, between the galactic and the quantum, And I feel that we have a wonderful gift to understand all of this, just like many other beings, perhaps, in their planet. I feel like even dolphins have some kind of intelligence similar to us. But, we have to appreciate and be grateful for this experience that ultimately all that exists is consciousness, energy, and whatever you want to call it, but it permeates through all of these patterns, all of these waves and spirals. And when I look at things like the Higgs boson, to me, that's just like a big con, because the Higgs boson is just another aspect, and there's things that make that up and things that make that up. You know, the black hole theory may not be true, but it kind of operates in the sense that this goes to infinity. You know, there's no end to matter or to physicality.
It's funny you said quantum and then infinity at the same time, because infinity can't be quantified. It's an unquantifiable physicality.
Well, we use
that's how they created black hole theory in the first place, by just dividing by zero, which is multiplying to infinity. That's all it is.
Well, we use quantum to describe the movement of electrons, and even electrons are not.
We don't. You and other people do. I don't. Quantum is a misrepresentation of the reality of. You're trying to say two things at the same time. First, as above, so below, and then secondly, quantum, which are two completely different things. Wait a second. Quantum divorces cause and effect. As above, so below, it shows a fractal effect, which is completely different. So one or the other, you can't have both. They sound pretty when you say them together, but you have to understand what you're saying before you say it.
It's not that,
That's not rude, but I'm just saying, I'm the guy coming in here to clear up all the little fucking, remember? It goes this way and that way. You can't overlap realities with me. I'm logical. So if you say one thing, you have to stick to it. I understand the math. So you're telling me about a fractal, and it's all fractal as above, so below, but then you're telling me it's quantum.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
What about microcosm and macrocosm?
There you go.
I'm just using that as an example because whatever language is there, people use it because it's convenient, because it makes people understand what you're talking about.
Truthers don't. Sheeple do.
This isn't for truthers. This is for people that don't have a clue about what's going on.
Then you won't give them a clue.
Use their language.
My point is, you're not going to give them a clue, Wolf, if you keep on mixing up the realities. I'm trying to give them the clue. I'm not trying to talk to sound smart. I can say amazing, beautiful artwork things like you're doing, but I'll be confusing people. I'm not here for that. That's why I'm trying to clarify the thing that you just said. I'm the only one here on the panel who caught it. Come on, man.
No, because I don't know. Look, I've got a role, but I just want to say this before you go. Look, man, I don't know why I feel certain ways of just underlying animosity towards you. I'm not generally like that, and I have to keep it in check, man. But personally, my belief is man, you have every right to believe what you want, but
it ain't about belief. You don't understand what I'm saying.
I don't believe you have the authority to say.
I think it hurts your feelings, and I'm coming from a higher level of thought than you are. I really do.
I don't believe that you are, man. Look, I'm fine with you believing that. That's cool, man. You can believe whatever you like, just as I can.
It's not about a belief. I just explained exact facts. It was. He said. You can look at the definition of quantum yourself. Okay, quantifiable and quantum. You can look up where the whole thing comes from. You can go do what I did and understand it better. But until then, don't just I don't believe it. You believe it.
No.
We know you don't need to believe. You don't know what I know. It ain't about you don't need to believe what I believe. You don't know what I know. You can believe what you want to believe, but you don't say it like I'm believing something. Because I'm coming from a different place. I'm coming from a place of understanding.
Well, I feel the same way though. I can see things.
But you don't even know what I'm talking about. So how could you be?
Well, listen. I thought you said just a few minutes ago that we're not awake.
Of the words you're using.
Well, look, because I use my spiritual side just as well as my logical side. That's my side of understanding. I don't need the science and all this to quantify anything for me, whereas I need a connecting link to the spirit, I feel, is my most important thing. And we're never going to agree on that, and that's fine. And again, I choose to say a belief, whereas your faith in science is just as my faith is in God, because it's an explanation that you can relate to. Just as I can do the same thing with my side. And I don't think that you're wrong necessarily. I just think we have different perspectives of similar things.
Man, and that's cool. But you just turned the whole thing around to where now you're a victim or something of what just happened, and you weren't even.
I'm not a victim, man. I'm not a victim, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I own up to my own mistakes. I fucked up a couple weeks ago and trolled around and said some stupid shit. I totally know it.
I'm really not.
No. I have to roll. Well, no, I got to roll, and I just wanted to clear that up. Hey, I know I fucked up. I know I did, and I don't really care. Ask me back, whatever. It don't matter. We all make mistakes. We're all humans, and we all get frustrated sometimes. And truly, but God bless all of you guys.
We all don't try to disrupt the truth movement, though. God bless you too.
Thank you for your perspective.
Thank you for having me on, man. You have a nice day.
Yeah, you too.
That's true.
And then, how about you, The View? I don't know if you're still there. Are you still there? The View from Outer Space? Are you still there? I don't think he's there.
Yeah, the thing is look, the View knows. If when I have a problem with somebody, I'm forward about it. I'm not going to sideways him. I'm not going to do something. I'm watching what he's saying right now. I'm not upset or I'm going to start any shit, and he's not trying to spread any Freemasonry. So I'm not into disrupting the movement of what he's doing. Right now, you know what I mean? I'm a fair guy. But this bullshit about trying to tell me that a belief is the same as a fact, no, it's not. That and the fact that you can't even look into the things that I look into and then tell me that you have a pretty good idea of what I'm saying. No, you don't.
Grim, just for a second, explain to me what fact in your perspective is.
It's way more rude than you expect, than you think it is.
Grim, tell me what fact is to you.
Observable and duplicable. You can duplicate it in a fucking laboratory. That's as close to fact as we can get. And and through plasma science, I already know your next question. I'm just gonna answer. Through plasma science, we're showing those discoverable facts. Wow, beautiful thunder just happened.
I know, I heard that over here earlier. You must be hearing it now.
Don't you need rain?
Oh yeah, we're getting it.
It's pretty.
Yeah, we're getting it now.
Over here too.
Yeah, we got water. They're full of shit. They're taking our water and they're redirecting it.
Yeah, HAARP basically stops us from getting our water. Dane Wigington did a lot of research on that. If you ever want to check it out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But yeah. So when we're talking about discernible facts against a belief, I'm telling him what his belief actually is. With the science, like your things that are being hijacked and claimed for religion are actually natural occurrences that you think the devil worshippers are worshiping to when they're actually drawing on those energies. They're not devil worshiping. Those people are. I mean, some of the dummies who don't know what they're doing, they'll call it that and be doing that. And then, there's no baby eating and there's no bullshit like that in the reality, because that's the Gilgamesh story. That's Saturn.
I think you missed the point of what Truth was saying, is like he doesn't come from the state of, this is a religion or something. He's talking about, his own inner knowing about spirituality. It very much goes hand in hand with the science that we see. Because in ancient times, there was no spirit versus spirituality or spirit versus science. It was all the same knowledge.
I'll tell you what really happened in a second when you're done. All right, what he really did was he came in, ran a pick. Everybody play basketball? He ran a pick because I was already into you about this discernible bullshit, how we're gonna turn things from fractal into quantum, and then he comes in with the running a pick, and everybody saw it, and I'm not stupid, so yeah, put it that way. And so I dealt with him, and now we'll go back to the fractal quantum stuff, right? I'm not on your shit. I'm just saying it's easier to sound cool and say we must do this and one must feel this, and it seems like people should listen to you when you do that. I know, I get it, man, but you shouldn't talk that way when you're not actually learned yet. You know what I mean? And that's the point. We are children. When you have children, say our children. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. I have nothing. I mean, why do we have problems with people anyway? I mean, it's just crazy. It just causes more conflict. But I was just saying, like, you're talking about, you know what's up and all this stuff and like that, and I totally agree with that. You're a smart guy. But didn't you just say that we can't be awake, that we're all awakening?
Yes,
so how can you know more than anyone else?
That's what my point is. There's different levels of awareness.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I can sit here and say, I know we're sitting here telling each other we're awake and patting each other on the back, and then everybody still thinks that Putin is the new voice of reason. You're not awake if you think that. If you don't think Putin is a Royal Ark Freemason and he's not, and wasn't KGB, and he's still, that they just tried to attempt his life one time and now they're done with all that, and he's really disassociated from those organizations, and he's not really nefariously ruling with the Committee of 300 to pretend a war and cull all the populations, you're not really awake, and quit patting yourself on the back, because all these countries are in on it together to cull each other's populations, and stop patting ourselves on the back for not knowing that. That's my point. You know, and until we can get at least that far, I mean, but damn, that's barely waking up. Now I'm all the way back to the very beginning. I already found the whole beginning of why this is happening and how it all happened and how the symbolisms are even there and where they even come from, what our solar system was 9,000 years ago and what it is today, and what the sun really is. I mean, I'm talking about shit that is so mind-blowing, and I can't even believe there's not enough people listening. So what? What if my personality got anything to do with this information?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. You obviously researched pretty much everything that a lot of people have researched as well, and you know you're really great at the knowledge aspect, but how we communicate that knowledge, I think, is far more important, because there's a responsibility aspect. I mean, like if you, and I'm not saying you're shooting down other people's perspectives, but I'm just saying there's a level of decency that we need, not just you, but me, everyone else, whenever we communicate this information, because it is mind-blowing, it is something huge, and it can shake people's worlds. So, you know, we have to respect each other's perspectives if we want people to, as you say, go on this journey of awakening. You know?
Right. I don't have another way of putting it together, because listen, there's not any one discernible thing that you can really do to wake someone up, but the whole picture all together, now that makes sense. And if you're not, no offense, and I'm not talking about you, but if you don't put it, if I can't convey the whole thing to you at once, then you're not going to understand the actual importance of what it is I need to be conveying in the first place. So we can talk about fluoride for 2 fucking weeks, but I know, but is anybody doing shit about it? Now,
right.
No.
Right.
You can talk about whatever what you want, but you talk about the whole thing. Now, all of a sudden, people from all around the world are contacting me. I never found anyone else yet that thinks like you. I'm getting this all over the place. I'm so glad I found you. You are amazing. These people are.
No one else can think like you, Grim. You're you. That's your perspective, right?
Yeah,
That's
but they do. The point is, they're saying they do. They also think this way. And for another person to have these same thoughts is freaking them out, because they've been looking for me. And the same as I'm looking for them. So you're not one of them. If I haven't found you and you don't resonate with me, then that's fine. But my story resonates with thousands of people. Trust me, bro, it does. And so you may not be one of them yet. That means your journey is still on its way. Trust me. When you get there, you'll know. And you'll have this feeling that you say you're having now. And it'll be real this time. You know, this wonderful explosion of knowledge, this feeling. It's like you were just the same thing they say when they found Jesus and all this shit in your heart and everything. It's beautiful, bro. And it's got nobody's name on it except yours. And it's your magic and it's your power, man. And then you start tuning in to, like, Amy, do I tune into your thoughts? I tune into her thoughts, dude. I tune into people for real. It doesn't matter. If I get to know you long enough, I can tune into you. I'll tell you what you're thinking. If you got a purple flower in your head, thinking about a purple flower picture, this is real shit, man. We were receivers and tuners. We were like, and it's not like, you say it because you believe it. You got to say it when you know it. Don't just say it when you believe it. I know it. That's how I found my uncle in Tennessee. We're on live air. I found my uncle in Tennessee. Didn't even know what exit exactly he was on. I just knew it was like 3 or 4 up after crossing the state line. And he wasn't just sitting off on the exit either, man. He was like way in a neighborhood, all this type of shit. I had no directions, no cell phone, none of that shit. Found him just like radar, dude. This is real. And if you know you have it and you flex it, and this was 20 years ago, man. I've been flexing this muscle for a long time, and I'm not a joke with this. And that's how I find out the things I find out. People say, oh, they channel and all this stuff. They do, okay? Some of them, because I know they do. I can sit here and I can figure out what I want to know in my mind, and then the next thing you know, I can do a couple of quick in searches and have everything that you'll ever want to know on it. And like the shit that you can't find. Well, it used to be. Google's been destroying that now. It's all gone.
Yeah.
Like I can't find the stuff I had on Robin Bush, the 2-year-old Bush daughter that died of cancer.
Yeah, yeah.
I think she's Hillary Clinton. Can't find any of that information I was on. You know, why not? Because they're erasing that shit.
I do like your point, though.
The royal monarchs are the royal bloodline through the Bjerk's Peerage book of aristocratic genealogy. Remember I said that. Time this. Bjerk's Peerage, aristocratic book of genealogy. All the presidents are related through one of 3 kings, mainly John Lackland Plantagenet. Not Ford. Ford's not related. Unless somebody's mom or something background, I don't know. But you got to look through the female lineage, man, and it's real life shit. It's not no joke. And so that's why presidents is all the fucking presidents. Obama, Mildred Reed is connected to Obama. Mildred Reed is connected to George Washington. Mildred Reed is connected to John Lackland Plantagenet. I mean,
what do we do about that, though?
We stopped believing in presidents. I mean,
okay.
I already did. So I already did my part. I quit voting 20 years ago. I quit paying taxes, and I quit with the banking, and I quit all that shit about 8 years ago. So I'm already completely out of that system, completely.
Because I love that wisdom aspect that we can bring, right? Like fucking.
But I can't. But obviously, my part isn't enough. Look, there's too many people just still working for the system, and
that's right.
They're belittling my efforts. And that's why I'm mad at the apathetic people, because they're belittling my efforts and our efforts when we all want to, you know, change the world by leading by example, and they start going harder, you know.
Hey Grim, you know, maybe you've already answered this question, but I didn't know. But like, were you always awake? Did you have a time you were just as ignorant as anyone else, or apathetic, or anything?
Sure. About political stuff, fuck yeah, man. I mean, everyone's aware in their own different ways.
Politically, are you weak?
I pointed out murderers. I pointed out like murderers when I was a child. My mom had a friend named Vaughn, and he was supposed to babysit me one day, and I locked him out of the house just because I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all. Locked him right out of the house, and called my mom, and she had to come home from work and had him leave because she trusted my judgment. 2 days later, he killed his freaky girlfriend, which was a boy or some weird shit. So it was like, wow, man. You know, something inside me told me to leave him out of the house. That's an awareness. That's not knowing anything. There's no education behind that, you know. But yeah. What's up, Fleabite?
Hello, mate. I think you've lost your confidence down the line somewhere, and you keep making up for it by bigging yourself up and coming up with exaggerated stories and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I know. I get that a lot, man. It's amazing how people get jealous of my life and do stuff you're doing right.
I think you're a good kid, right? I think you're an Ari kid and all that, but I think you're very full of yourself, and you belittle people. Just a minute, can I say something? Right? You belittle people.
Got to live my life. You'd be full of yourself too, man. But obviously you didn't.
I tell you what, you're not the only one who's had a bad life. I've been through the fucking case.
I never called it bad.
No, I'm not. Can I say my piece? Can I say my piece? Right? I'm just saying that you come on. You
not
tell
everybody. As insulting as it's been thus far.
Just let us say me fucking
piece. Me, go ahead, man. Fuck it.
Say me piece. Right?
Wait, is that your piece? Is you calling that peace? You mean can you say your war? Go for it.
Are you going to let us speak, Mr. Intelligent?
Do your shit words, man. Go ahead.
Are you that ignorant? Are you that ignorant that you're not going to let us speak?
Oh, yeah, I'm ignorant. Yeah, exactly. So that's going to trick me into letting you talk over.
Let us speak small talk.
Right? Psychology going to work on him? Yeah, don't come in here trying to act like a fucking smart
guy. You're on fucking method, dude. See what it is? You're the same as four. You're the same as four. You take meth at the weekends. You get paid and you take meth at the weekends, and you start to with everybody and going on a big one and start to play. Listen, mate, I work with drug people all the time, man. I work at a center point, right? You've got a classic signs. You've got classic signs of amphetamine abuse, right? And that's what you do. Get full of yourself and all that, and pull everybody else down around you, and you blame the whole world and think you're the most intelligent person. You think you're the most intelligent person on YouTube, and you're turning around and saying to everybody, you're not intelligent as me. I'm better than you. I know this. I know that. You know fuck all. None of what you say makes sense. Right? It's all gibberish. And if you sat back and you listen to what you're saying,
He does not use drugs.
Right? You talk absolute fucking gibberish. You know what I mean?
He does not use drugs.
You pull everybody down at the same time. Well, if he doesn't
pull
use
anybody
drugs,
down.
then if he doesn't use drugs, I go back to what I'm saying. He's lost his confidence somewhere, and he's building it up by bigging himself up all the time. And what he's doing,
Are you jealous? I mean, why are you attacking him?
He's belittling people at the same time as he's bigging himself up. He's belittling everybody else on
Well,
YouTube.
you're attacking him, so how are you any better then? Are you in a position to judge?
Who is he to say? Who is he to say? I'm not as smart as him. Nobody else on this fucking panel is as smart as him.
Lady now. How long does your piece need to last? This is 3 minutes.
You turn around, you said, "Fuck paper." I am 3,000 years ahead of everybody because I've read the book of the dead. I read the book of the dead when I was 12 at fucking school, mate. Right? So thinking you're sort of big shot because you watch YT videos and then you think that you know the whole world.
Repeat yourself. This is an invalid argument at this
point. Mate. Right? Expose yourself every fucking time that you make a video, man.
So you can say your piece. How long is that gonna be? Fucking 5 minutes of complete ranting.
Well, fucking you usually fucking spend all half an hour about what you
want to mouth, dude. It's my turn to talk. I gave you your fucking turn.
And you take over telling everybody how fucking stupid you are. Everybody's a fucking.
I challenge your accusations, please, sir.
You go and spend your time telling everybody
else. Right.
You're the smart one, and you're the one that's going to sort everybody out, and you're the one that's saved the truth community, and you're the one that's got an IQ of 180 odd, and you had that when you were
195. Remember it right, you stupid.
You're full of shit, narcissistic fucking lunatic. Right, you need to take a step down.
Get my quotes right. Don't paraphrase me, son.
Stop acting like a fucking tit.
Play smart with some real brains. Come on, man.
I've got some fucking real brains, mate. I don't have to come on and boast.
Take the comes out your mouth when you're talking. You know, you speak like that. You don't make any sense.
I'll tell you what you've done, right? I'll fucking set you up the other
jump to the other end of the rainbow.
Remember the Book of the Dead where he says, the Book of the Dead, and that's where Moses got his fucking thing
go
from.
There, then. Right, go there.
Right, I'll ask you a question, right? Moses' 10 commandments.
I do not entertain assholes anymore. You're done. With me, you're done. Nothing to be said, bro. You've accused me of being a drug addict. You've accused me of lying. You've accused me of all these things. Why don't you fuck yourself, bro? There's no reason for me to debate with you on anything anymore. You can't even substantiate your ignorant claims at all. So shut your stupid mouth.
You've read the Book of the Dead. What is the 10 Commandments?
I never read the Book of the Dead. I said there are references that claim that the Book of the Dead are where the 10 Commandments came from, and gave you the link and the references on my video. You can easily go back and have a grand old time doing that.
What part of the book did they come from?
Kiddo. It's not my job to spoon feed idiots who don't even like me. Remember, you don't even like me. Don't ask me for any favors if you don't like me. It just doesn't make rational sense to do such a thing. Now, you get more flies with honey than vinegar, so why don't you go learn about that? Bring me back some honey, baby. Bye-bye.
Back up what you're saying, Mr. Smartass. Back up what you're saying. What part of the
What's up, Fear Porn?
What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. Figure we try to change a little pace. Good evening, Mr. Grimm.
Good stuff, man. Just having my regular old haters follow me around doing their dumb shit.
It's like that.
Take him a minute to figure out where his mute button is.
Fucking idiot, man. Answer the question. You can't answer it, can you?
Oh, you didn't even hear it.
But you can't answer where they come from when the whole book is about the whole book is about it, man. You know that, but you don't know it, do you? It comes from the negative confessions.
Place to worry about it. You're not gonna bother
the negative confessions,
are you?
Moses took 10 of the negative confessions.
Right, but the talking snake, that makes more sense.
Oh, you're full of shit. I'll bye. See you later.
Oh, yeah, but the talking snake makes much more sense, huh? Fleabag or bite.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you talk a load of shit and you don't know what you're talking about. You mention things that when people question you on them like me, who know what I'm talking about.
People who? People what? I
Do
get
what you
questioned
want,
all
Gus.
day. I do 8-hour shows, motherfucker. People question me all day. You can go
You're
watch
doing
the
it now,
videos.
man.
What do you do?
You're doing
Comment
that
on my
when you talk
shows
over the
all
top of people.
day. Don't
You talk over the top of people. That's what you do. You don't act
make
like
a show,
Howard.
man. Preach about it to somebody who gives a shit. I obviously
Exactly. You don't give a shit. Why? Because you're being exposed.
don't. You, I don't. Not your
Well,
idiot problem. No, I don't, man.
You're like, what was it? Angles in fucking
Rude
prison.
since day
What's
one.
an
You
angle in
jealous.
a prison?
The
Explain
first thing I
yourself.
ever said, you jumped on my shit. You can go kiss my ass, bro. I really
Hey,
don't
man,
care.
you fucking see
I can
things.
clown
man.
you all day.
You
It doesn't matter, dude. I have
see
patience.
you're too
Go ahead.
intelligent, man. You see
Hey,
you're too
Fleabite, why
intelligent.
are you so angry, man?
Hey, man, you turn
Why?
around, you
Why
see you're
are
too
you?
intelligent for anybody to understand what you're fucking saying. That's how ignorant you are, man. And
Trying to
narcissistic.
get a mutual.
Yeah, but you have to understand these people are just people, you know, like they're just like,
Man, I don't need a lesson from
You
you,
don't
mate.
like my personality, so what, bro?
it's
on, he's putting
okay
over
to
your part.
disagree. There's no need to yell, sir. There's no need to yell. You don't need to yell.
All right. You want you right? He's took over your pod, right? Like he does on every pod. He comes over, he takes over. He says the same shit on every pod, triangles, prisms, and this and the other. And I am the most intelligent.
Okay,
and
but I understand that, Fleabite, but I don't understand why it bothers you.
It's why it bothers us because he does the same on every one, and he's telling people like you and the rest of you that he's not intelligent as him, and he's the best in it. You
Well, that doesn't, but Fleabite, that doesn't really matter because he has his own opinion. You know, we all have our own opinions. It's okay to have your own opinion.
Well, listen,
I'm saying I have a different perspective than you. Does it mean I'm any more?
No, I'll come to listen to them, man.
Listen, here's a good example. I heard someone explain it to me this way. If you're the guy who's cleaning the windows on the skyscraper, he sees the big tidal wave coming. Does that mean he's smarter than you? Or does he just have a different perspective than you?
You're talking bollocks again.
I'm the guy on the skyscraper, dude, washing the windows, man. I'm not
Oh, yeah,
smarter than
yeah,
you. I just have a different perspective than you. So don't try and put words in my mouth, man.
Nobody used to
Because I
put words
said
in
they
Yeah, and there's no need to attack people for personal perspectives. Like you don't need to attack people on how they live and such, like, or just judge them. This show is supposed to be a non-judgmental show, so don't come on here and judge people. Okay.
No, what do you mean? Don't come on here and judge people. He's came on.
We are here to discuss research. Listen, Fleabite. Hey, listen.
I won't come back to your show tomorrow, right?
I would like you to be on my show. I just want you to not judge people and talk about research. Okay, that's what we do here. We don't judge people and we talk about research.
I really did.
We don't need to talk about other people, and we don't need to put down other people. That's not what my show's about.
You don't have a beef with me. I don't have a beef with you, Fleabite. Only thing I have a beef with you about right now is that you're just so rude to me for no fucking apparent reason.
I'm rude to you because you're rude to everybody else, man.
Well, you don't need to defend everyone else, Mr. Hero. They're here.
Anyway,
I agree with Grim on that, Fleabite. You don't need to like be the hero for other people.
Oh, yeah, man, I'm not being a hero for other people, you fucking idiot, right? I'm telling them, but yeah, I'll see you later, right?
So now they're the idiots, so you don't feel my position at all.
You don't need to call people names. Like, stop being so judgmental. We're not judging you. Okay, well, anyway, back to research.
Hey,
Let's go back.
Idiots, you fucking idiots.
All right, anyways, I have a limited amount of time, so let's get back to the research. And Jay Thornton, you came on a little while ago, but we haven't heard your perspective on, say, dualism and or as above, so below.
That was like speaking French to me, brother. I thought y'all was talking about the Fed and whatnot.
We went all around the board.
Yeah, I have a limited capacity.
Oh yeah, well shit, man. The Fed sucks too. The Fed sucks.
Well, you know what dualism is?
I think my ears are still ringing. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if you were here when we discussed it.
Yeah, dualism. Yeah, I think I'll give him a brief up because that's kind of vague. Dualism, it means north and south. Yeah.
Right.
talking about it in scientific and spiritual terms, even language terms. You know how they say
Or philosophical,
mean another.
theosophical, those types of terms.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thank you. I'm only laughing because of the adrenaline release.
Right, of course.
Just having a little adrenaline release, because you know how people.
That's true.
Yeah. Never mind. Bring it back up. Adrenaline.
Hey, I had a dream about molecular structure. I asked a scientist, but he couldn't give me nothing on it. But being that I was just sitting here listening to what you said, and I kind of resonate with you because you took most of my thoughts. You took most of the shit I wanted to say. You know, I ain't no ball rider, but I give props to where props is. But could you tell me something about molecular structure? Because I'm not really sure why I had a dream about it.
That's pretty cool.
Probably has something to do with your understanding. You're starting to want to understand it more, so you do already in your subconscious, and you're trying to connect it to your conscious, and that's the real only way you can control it. You can go and look at it in your subconscious, and you know that subconsciously, so you do in your dream. You probably spent a millisecond on it, and then had a 10-minute thought, like you thought it was a 10-minute dream or something. You could probably see the whole thing and all that amazing shit, but you just can't forward memory it yet until you dream it a couple more times. Take naps in the middle of the day.
See if I can tune back into it.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I fly, dude. I fly like this and make a glass come to my hand. I mean, it's tricky. It's tricky because it starts moving about right here, like back and forth, and I'm like, I have to kind of reach in and grab it. But, you know, I do it. That's a big step for me because I've always tried that and never could do it until recently. I've been able to fly for a really long time, but that is different. That was more flexing. I was like,
yeah, because I found myself having these like electro pulse where I'm magnetic, where I can push shit and grab shit. I mean, like I see myself doing a lot of different things in the dream world.
Lucid dreaming.
Yeah. And I feel you on what you're saying, but you know, some people can't handle the heat that's in the kitchen. You know,
that's true.
I'm already ether 9 fire, so I get it.
That's what I'm saying, and I resonate. I can feel that. That's the thing, is I can feel that, and I know that. Look, the vibe came off. He tried to use the vibe that, because I don't like truth for sure. He trolled my very first show, tried to ruin it. Right? That was so bad. It was like, you're never gonna come back from that. We can't be friends. I'm sorry. This is my reality, my life. I'm working on this from my heart. I studied this for years before I started talking about it to people. Now, my first day I do a goddamn show, he shows up to troll me, dude. I had so much on the plane, just threw my whole thing off track. I'm not a personality. You see me evolving as I carry on with this stuff, you know? It's not like I came out Mr. fucking perfect, and I'm not going to end up Mr. Perfect. But, I'm still going to remain myself, but I'm trying to get a little more formation to my thoughts so I can keep them in line and keep them get short enough blocks so people can understand what's going on without going too far, getting them lost. The 8-hour podcast thing is for fun and for me to splice up and take important moments to put videos out later. Because you get a lot of good shit. I had experimentalvaccines.org on my show last night, and it was a lot of fun. The guy is intelligent as hell, and I really enjoyed it, and I think that you guys will enjoy it. The end of the show. A lot of crazy stuff goes on still. I got to work it all out. Of course. Not every, you know what I mean? Yeah, so what? I mean, I know. I got an attitude. It's appealing to some and it's not to others. And I get that. But I'm fair and I'm reasonable. There's There's a difference. You know, I'm not just irrational to people. Like, if you don't like my personal life story, dude, literally, you're calling me a liar about my personal life story. That's my life story, man. I know it's mine. You can't say I didn't get an IQ evaluation of 195 in the 2nd grade. All right, I'm 40 now. You can't say that. So a lot happened between here and there, and you can see that I make mistakes in words, and you don't know how to judge a genius when you see one in the first place. I mean, you think a genius means that he knows all the math and he does all the physics and he was schooled and all this kind of stuff. And in reality, it's nothing to do with that at all. It's the ability to comprehend and learn new things, and absorb things. You know, you say I don't have that ability, you got a lot of fucking learning to do. You know, we could talk for a million years on the shit that I've learned. If I felt like breaking it down, like, you know, no offense, Wolf, you know, but if I felt like breaking it down into like, we must learn to do, you know, I could do this to you for the rest of our life and you just grow old and still not learn a fucking thing. Yeah, but no, I'm not about that. And I appreciate what everybody does, but I know what's going on. You know, I know who the downs are on my channel and why. You know, I know all that kind of stuff, you know. And it's like childish, man. It needs to, you know, grow the fuck up. If you don't like a person, just go away, dude. You're trying to shut
matter of fact, on
down.
my show,
Because a Robert J. Morris shows up and everybody that doesn't like him thumbs down my video. You know, doesn't share and all that kind of shit. There's a lot of good stuff on there. Just because a clown gets on and does drinking and acts weird, everyone... Look, the premise of my show is free speech. You know, and yeah, I was, if you could pay attention, I was annoyed. If you were watching, I was annoyed at the way it was going down. So it's not like I was enjoying that. Yeah, make a long story short, man, it's a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, well, I'm, you know, new to it too, and I'm working on it. This is my 7th episode or whatever, or my end, Anon 2150s, and we're just doing our thing. We used to just originally, you know, he'd come over, and you know, he's like the only one I have around here that I could talk to as a you know, with that kind of perspective in mind, so I can like talk about, you know, research in that perspective. And over time, we were like listening. Well, I was listening to other podcasts, and I figured I should like join this whole thing, like, and get it going over in this area, like associated with like a real life communique about what's going on, where we are, why things are going on the way they are, if we can do anything about it, you know, real life stuff, like. And we used to just talk about that shit, like as if he's come over, and I said, you know what, this could be a thing. We could like, you know, put this online. Like people could like listen to us or whatever, and you know, maybe they could join us if we could figure it out. And then, you know, now here we are. We've made it.
That's
we're like
new platforms hopping up, and people can jump on and talk to each other, and like, this needs to happen more. I'm surprised I don't see thousands of chats going on in the chat rooms. You know, like, so many people are still scared to do it. You know what I mean? There's a lot. There's not as many as you would imagine.
You and me are the only ones like here and like in this area, right? That I know of, that we communicate with online.
No, experimental vaccines is a little south of us. Bobby,
okay, cool.
Bobby's around.
I have in my circle.
There's a few people that are.
Yeah, Bobby and Crystal are in like Tahoe or whatnot.
Yeah, just right nearby.
Yeah, so I mean, we're just being in this town. There's like, you know, there's like a valley essentially around us of nothing for like a while.
Hell yeah, and you're right next door to me, dude.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm in the city.
We gotta go fishing, man. You gotta get out of the city. We'll go to Bobby's house.
Sounds like a plan.
He's got a bass boat, and he wants us to go. He wants me to go fishing with him. I want to go fishing with him.
I'm down, dude. I haven't fished in like years. I used to fish with my dad, my grandpa, and stuff, and you know that just doesn't happen anymore.
Be out on the water for a change, man. I love Florida. I'm from Florida originally, not originally, but second originally. I was there for the longest time in my life. So,
where are you at, Eric? Where do you reside, or what area?
Baltimore, Maryland, where we got more cameras than enough.
Oh, so you're in the thicket, huh? Of
Yeah,
like
I'm
shit
in
that
the
happens.
Maryland, man.
I'm in the real shit, the murder capital, number 2.
Yeah, right across the 50, you got Ocean City.
Yeah.
See, I painted, you know, Bo Rigario and the guy who owns the boardwalk up there, Ocean City Boardwalk, the 2-mile long boardwalk. Yeah, me too. I used to paint all these signs and stuff for him and make signs and shit for him, and you know, he'd always have me hanging out and shit. Fucking, he just loved the hell out of me, telling jokes, you know. So yeah, he kept me and my uncle pretty busy for a few years out there until we took off, you know, and went and worked somewhere else. We had a lot of other stuff to do. So, but yeah, Ocean City, Maryland was pretty cool. I left right before that big storm came down and took down all my signs that I put up.
Hurricane Isabel.
You remember that? Yeah, she came through and just tore the whole town apart, man. I just left. Like 2 days before I left, I was like, just left. It's crazy.
I was so pissed off, man, because the people that were supposed to turn our lights back on, they was at the restaurant park. I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, you know the guy that owned Little Jolly Rogers? I can't even remember his name. I should probably. It's big names to drop. But yeah, whatever. But anyway, what was I gonna say? That it was even better than that. Shit, I'm trying to bring back memories of fucking. How old was I? 20. You remember Mateo's? Do you know about that place, Mateo's? It's that they got the ass burner sauce there. It's a Mexican food restaurant in Ocean City, Maryland. Right on the boardwalk, right across the street from the boardwalk, like right on the street.
Shucks, man. If I were to get me something to eat in Ocean City, it wouldn't be no Mexican food. So I would probably know.
Well, yeah, I mean, not normally. We did the sign for the guy, and we stayed upstairs at the, there was an apartment upstairs. So it was like during all the tourism season and shit, we were right in the middle of it all.
And you can rent them rooms down there. That's real nice.
Huh?
So you can rent those rooms down there. That's real nice.
Yeah. You'd imagine, yeah, exactly, because they're like $1,000 a week for the rent. Yeah, but we didn't have to pay for it because Bo owned everything. And he just set us up in a spot, on a penthouse top floor. Everything was badass. Woo! This motherfucker had a diamond bracelet that said Bo on it. It was huge. Yeah, it was crazy. His cat slept in $100 bills on the fucking floor.
I believe that.
A little cat bed full of fucking $100 bills. Like, first met him, and I was like, I knew it. I felt like, man, this motherfucker is testing me. Because who's going to just say, oh, yeah, come on in, have a seat. And then, yeah, that's my cat, you know, and actually point out the damn cat, whatever his stupid name was. I don't remember. She was, you know, cute cat, whatever. Sorry, Bo. But, and then go to the back room for like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, man, this is ridiculous. He's testing me. People think I'm fucking bad or something, man, just because of the way I look. I was almost offended. I thought, because you know what I mean? Like, but then he came back in the room and everything and had a whole plate of work for us for the next 6 months straight. Boom. You know, at least fucking $2,000-$3,000 a week worth of work all the whole time. So that was cool. I just wanted to give a big shout out to Bo, man. That was really nice of him. And he gave us those. It was so long ago. I never got to say anything to him really, except thanks. But it gave us like. Told the people at the restaurant that he owned and the taxi cab service that he owned that anytime we called, it's all free on the house. And anytime we went to eat, free on the house. Anytime, the whole time we were there, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Expenses paid, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, people want to say, "Oh, you're a liar." Da 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 da. Man, I haven't even told you shit yet. You want to call me a liar? Wait till I tell you my uncle dated Janis Joplin. She used to come pick him up in Fort Lauderdale on her Donzi, yellow Donzi. Family photos, motherfucker. Yeah.
Just say, what do I screen share the photos?
Yeah, I don't have it on my computer, man. Look up Ray. Just look up Ray Hammer for that. That's him. He can tell you all about it. It's his business.
Yeah, man. I just think everybody is on their own frequency, and we transmitting on our own vibration, and it's well respected. But in some cases, our ego can cause us to be assholes and cause an ass nation or an assassination of character.
There you go. Yeah. Where did I read that? Where did I read that? Where'd you read that?
What, assassination?
Yeah,
Assassination? No, I do encrypted words and cipher words. I broke it down the other day. I said, that's an ass nation.
Oh, okay. Well, I've read it somewhere before. I usually remember. I don't remember who I read shit from, but I remember what I read. And I read it before somewhere that same way. Maybe something you wrote. But yeah. And assuming, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, you're right. It's a fucked up ass language, ain't it?
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. The shit is
That's the one world dumbed down language that they're trying to tell you they're going to implement one day off in the future. It's already here. Everyone's learning English, every country. It's the dumbed down language, because that's why I can't spell it. I have a high IQ and I can't spell. You know why? Because English isn't phonic. Phonic.
right.
Phenomena. Phenomena.
I was having a Motley Crue experience.
No, I felt you on that. I was bringing it back to the what's that fuzzy elephant on Sesame Street? Phenomena.
Yeah, exactly.
Snuffleupagus. Oh yeah.
So I want to take this time to welcome the people from the chat. I didn't get a chance to do that earlier. As what we got, like Suppress the Truth, Captain Jesse, Cookies 21, Richard Rawell, Red Siren. Yeah, so welcome, guys. All right, go ahead and keep talking. I have to take a phone call, apparently.
We gotta get you a better ringtone. Sound jazzy. Like the Benny Hill song.
The funniest thing, 2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah, mine. That's what I have. Like, call my phone, man. You see. Call my phone.
Yo. Cause see, as a young man like me, watching Benny Hill was my first porn.
It was me too, boy. I just love Benny Hill. Like, oh my God. I know why he's chasing me. Watch my phone ring. And however long it takes her to call it.
That's crazy.
Some things you just can't let go of.
Right.
Oh, V8. Oh, it's on silence. Damn it. Hold on. Let me put it on. I got it on.
See, you know you fucked up, right?
Okay. Try this.
Alright.
Dur and 3. It's not ringing.
Welcome to Saturday Night Live.
It's not ringing. Hold on.
She just was pranked by Mr. Grimm.
All right. Now, ringer is on high and vibrate. No.
Alright.
I didn't push set. I just closed the thing. It didn't set. Look, you know I got a shitty phone, right? It's not my fault. Hello? Why'd you stop the ringer? I wanted to hear the whole song. Call me again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't do shit. She's like, fuck you, man. Call yourself.
Wow. That was funny, man. Fucking Benny Hill, the truth.
That's right, man. Oh yeah, let me find this video real quick.
You know, Hee Haw was funny too. That's my favorite thing. Hee Haw. You know, popping up out the
Never
fucking
watched
bushes.
that. Yeah,
Popping up the bushes. Funny as a motherfucker, man.
I think I was out. I was away from it at that point. I was outside time.
I always think of myself like, what the fuck would I have been doing down in the bushes? I'd have had me a girl down there. They'd be waiting for me to pop up, and I never popped up.
It's like, what is he doing? Eating food with her? I don't know what they're eating. That's for
Just
sure.
waiting for me, boy. Cause them girls back then was lush. I'm thinking I'm only, what, 12 years old? Like, yes, I'm down in the bushes for a minute. I'm down there.
How old are you?
45, 4 to the
Okay,
5.
I think I was like 7 or something. Yeah, so I'm about 5 years younger than you.
I'm just young, man. You know,
I'm 5 years younger than you.
I'm younger. That's what I be saying, man. I be coming on here acting like I'm the young guy, and I'm older than everybody.
Put together.
Yeah, they were like, little tree for life, Earth. You're a young guy. Shut up, you little young buck. Like, yo, I'm your daddy. Age.
Have a little bit of respect. Yeah, like, please, just for the simple fact that I've had to endure this life longer than you. Just that simple fact.
Yeah.
And some people have everything given to them. This shit is hard in ways at some place. You know, at some points in my life was hard to get through. I need a little respect. Yeah.
Give it up for the 40s. See, I knew the 50s ain't gonna be that easy.
So, hey,
30s it was hard to get through.
we got some people in the chat room. What's up, guys? How are you?
What's up, chatters? Somebody gonna join in? We got any jumpers, time jumpers?
Suppress the truth again and again. Richard Rowell, how you doing, man?
Yeah, but Grim, I think I saved one of your shows like a couple of days ago when I saw y'all on there, and I enjoyed what y'all was talking about.
Cookies found the cops. Me too, Cookies. I found the cops. Yeah, shills are everywhere. Where are they? You don't think the view is a shill, do you? It's just a knucklehead.
No.
The normal knucklehead, like everybody else. I doubt he's even a Freemason.
He ain't even free Mars' son.
Free my son. God damn it. That's what my mom used to say. He was with me. Quit lying, Mom. They caught me.
Free my son.
Free my son.
You're right. I remember being at the precinct before they took people to central booking, and my mother would come up with me and free my son.
I knew where that was going. I'm sorry I laughed before he finished.
So I'm getting slapped the shit out of when I get outside, though. Believe that.
You know that's fact.
You made me come up here 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah. 2 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, no. About 10 in the morning. You slept over. But no, I'm getting out of bed at 2 in the morning. Oh yeah? Well, y'all hold on to him. I'll be there in the early afternoon.
Right, back then, right, they would call and say, hold him right there. Keep him right there till I get there. You know, the police was a part of the community back then. You know, it's a separation now. I don't know what happened. You know, the police, remember Officer Friendly? He ain't friendly no more.
Shit. Yeah, depending on what neighborhood you were on too.
You know, here where I'm at in the city, they do gun programs where you turn in your guns and nobody never say anything. You may have 18 bodies on it, but when it come time to defend yourself, you don't have no weapon. And then it's like they do like school programs where the police officers will be giving away toys and stuff like that. So you know they showing you one picture, two pictures, but then when I'm riding down the street, it's like whoop, pull over. You're a part of my investigation. Why? Because I came out of the store buying a pack of cigarettes.
Walked out of my house and became part of an investigation before living in Milwaukee.
Right. Like what about the toys and the kids and all that other stuff? Like that don't matter when you're a part of my investigation.
Of course not. Damn it.
So you know, they're doing a pilot program here in Baltimore, Maryland, with the cameras. They say they don't have the technology for the cameras to run 24 hours. But I figure if you got the technology inside the vehicles to run the camera on an 8-hour shift, then I think you're good. You know?
Yep.
I think they're lying to us. But them cameras are not for them. They are for us. That means they don't have to do the big ass camera. Bad boys, what you gonna do while they chasing your ass? They got the little camera on the glasses or whatever, while they putting hands on you. I don't need no big ass camera or CNN. I got my little small camera while I'm in pursuit of you now. It's bad boys. It's not to protect us from them. It's cops.
I know.
It's
Well, that's
cops
why they
with
always
little ass
say
cameras.
the personal cameras were shut off. Like, yeah, right. They're not even allowed to shut them off, right? Because their boss wants them on just for them, you know.
Right. And then the mayor said, well, when the hard questions came in, they said, bring in Dave, right? They brought in Dave, and Dave said, yeah, it's going to come a place in time where they're going to have to turn the cameras off. So we had an incident where the police is whipping this guy's ass. I mean, fucking him up. The gun is inside the glove box. So the threat is not on the police. The threat is inside the glove box, if you feel me. But meanwhile, back to this ass whipping they give him. Police coming up on him like Macho Man Randy Savage, dropping elbows, like Ric Flair, dropping knees on the motherfucking head, right? I mean, real talk, right? So the lady said, oh, we red right now, meaning that we recording.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah. Should we turn the cameras off? And they was like, yeah. And I was like, hell yeah, because y'all about to power bomb this motherfucker next. They was putting all kind of wrestling moves on them, man. And I think they learned that shit from overseas, because I ain't never seen these moves before. These are all new.
Israeli fighting.
Right. Right. Israeli fighting. I saw type shit.
Fuckers.
That's what's going on in the cities, man. It's ass whipping. You know, the police whipping one guy ass, and another police holding his arm so the guy can't fight back. And the citizens camera is recording it, right? So you know what happened? No indictment and no arrest. So it's like when robbing them say nobody got shot, nobody got hurt. On their side, there's no indictment and no arrest. That's their song that they play.
That's their song.
Yeah. No indictment, nobody got arrested. Yeah.
No indictment, still getting paid.
Right. There you go. You go home and get paid.
No indictment, still getting paid. No indictment, still getting paid. No indictment. Yeah, I can see that. That could be a good video.
And you got these hip-hop police out here in the city, you know, real young guys, you know, younger than me. And you thinking that they cool, but nah, they 5'0". And it's real out here, man. They bumping the same music, Bobby Smurder, and we all about the cocoa, the bacon soda. They play the same shit we play in the hood. And we think that's our homeboys riding behind us, but nah.
Yeah. I know it ain't them. I know it ain't. Yeah, that's what I do, man. I keep my eye peeled. You know, people mistake me for like a dummy. They're like, oh, you're being nice to trolls. Look, man, I'm not trying to create waves and problems for shit for people. That's not what I'm doing. I mean, yeah, you see me creating waves, but I'm not trying to constantly be doing that. You know what I mean? It's yeah. Sometimes people rub me the wrong way. They get a ration of shit. You know, that's what it is. But I don't run around just bringing up old arguments and starting old shit, creating unless it's something that's important already. It's deflating my character with an assumption. You know, that's a whole different story. Yeah. So yeah. I like people talking shit to each other or being friendly to each other, all that fun stuff. I usually don't even get into it. Like if someone's like, oh, I really like your hair and da da da, that's not part of my conversation anyway either. Even though it's not insulting and da 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 da, you know what I mean?
Right.
Free speech is free speech, the good with the bad. So everybody keep their free speech. Don't try to get like assume some sort of power or whatever. And start shutting it down. You get caught into the flea bite.
You get bit.
Yeah.
You know,
So
because
I just wanted to jump in for a minute and say hi and everything. You know, I stayed a lot longer than I planned on staying.
I enjoyed it, man. I love the advanced thinking. That's the type of videos I do on, the next level of consciousness. What's my next experience? Am I prepared for it? Am I ready for the next engagement? How will I approach it? I'm futuristic. I mean, I live in the now like Wayne's World, but I live for tomorrow too because I haven't forgot the plan. You're not going to shit me out of my plan.
There you go. Yeah, I say the same thing, but just in different words too. I stick to my principles. I keep them simple too. I'm trying to get on your profile here. It won't work.
I think I already added you to my circle. I think from your last show.
There we go. Oh, you know what it is? This is the other. This is a different account. I don't even use this. This one is when I jump on. If I make my own show, it starts me off with my other account. If I jump on someone else's show, it starts me on this one.
Yeah, they do what they want to do.
I hate that shit, man. I want to just be on the other one. Cause that way,
right.
it's like I jump on. I don't link with anybody with this side. That's
like,
why
I love Firefox because I can do bookmarkers, but I can't stay on Google Live. And I kept getting kicked off of this, so I had to switch browsers. And as you can see, I've been on here for 2 hours.
Yeah, I got Firefox.
But it just don't work for me.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
I'm just transmitting on a higher frequency. I guess that's what it is. I'm just keep shutting my shit down. Because I bring stuff to myself. I live outside, but my show is about the truth of life of the universe. I got to deal with what's going on inside.
Yeah, I breezed through. I breezed through a couple of videos. So yeah, I just wanted to say later to everybody, and thanks for having me on the show, Fear Porn Propaganda. I appreciate it.
I think you said you'd be right back.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I just have to take off though. Okay.
Yeah.
Busy.
Get me something to eat too.
Yeah, 3:45 over here. The thunder quit happening.
Hey, but I did want to say that you remind me of George Clooney. That's why I put it on the side chat.
Oh, I took this side chat down. Thanks, man.
Yeah. I said that's George. I said, Ocean's 13 Grandma.
Ocean's 13. You take her easy. Yeah, it's good hanging out with you guys for a minute. I'll see you next time.
Definitely. All right, brother. Wow, that was interesting. That is the ultimate duality. Hearing it from both sides of the fence. A lot of male energy, not too much female. no male and female. But as above, so below. You're dealing with heaven or haven or earth or heart. So I just believe, if I was to believe, that whatever is heavenly or in my haven consciousness stems from my heart. You know, I live from the heart, from the center mass. And I think at this day and time, we need to protect our heart, guard our conscience, become a guard in our consciousness, put our shields up, put our helmets on, put on our military weaponry and get ready to fight the war that is wrong. Because they're going to beat you up anyway with a bat, but except you defend yourself, you just get hit. Because they're swinging, as you can see, as you can hear, as you can smell, as you can taste. They're doing their thing. But the question is, what are we going to do next? Can we continue just on this level? Or can we take it to the next level? Do we jump in fear and survival mode? That is the question. Is it a way we can break the forces of duality? Become one? Become whole? Become singular? And thought? Collective consciousness? Advanced kingdom thinking? It is a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. But we must get together. Let's work on lessening the debate. Be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Let's pull back some of the wrath of God. Let's put some of the fire out of the tongue, put a little water on it. Tone down when it's necessary, but tune up when you have to. We can't be jellyback on this mission. You can't be a weak soldier. You can't be afraid to check somebody or even G-check somebody.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm back.
You must be sensitive. Yes.
Hello?
Hello, my brother.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey.
So we lost Grim?
Yeah, he had to step away. Yeah.
For sure. I hope he got his final thought in. I'm gonna have to sign out here soon too. So I don't even know if View's still there, but are you still there, View? Okay, I guess not. So go ahead and do your final thought, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for the day. This was a pretty good show from my perspective. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
And I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the parts that I missed.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on, man. I was rushing from work trying to get home to be a part of this great duality confrontation that we have on a daily basis. And I learned a lot. I learned to listen. I learned to be more humble, to be more graceful. But yet to be stern when necessary. To hold the line, stay the course. And I think we're doing a great job with it, and continue to press forward, and reach beyond the breaks, and then still hold on, because you're doing a great job here, especially in the daytime. because that's when I'm home, and I'll be needing some guidance, on this mission because we're navigators, but sometimes the navigation system is faulty, and we need assistance from each other to keep us in tune, to keep us in line. And, I just appreciate you inviting me in and even having this show at this particular time because you're on a whole different side of town than I am.
Yeah, exactly. We need to do all those things. And I like your final thought there. So I would like to also thank the listeners or viewers for joining us tonight. Great to have you. And the chat on the side there. It's good to have you too. Thank you for coming and joining us. You're welcome to come on anytime. I'm going to usually put out the Hangout link in the chat. If you ever want to come on and say hi, you're welcome to. Anyway, so for my final thought on dualism, it's basically here nor there. It's basically up in the air. It's in the void. It's in space. It's outer space. It's inner space. It's macrocosm. It's microcosm. It's atomic, subatomic. It has to do with all these categorizations of everything. So, to put a science basis on it, that's how you categorize. And you, take all the categories and list them and put them on places and measure them out and come up with things. But in the end, they're all observation. So, with that said, it's great to have you all. And thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you next time. This is Wisecraft signing off. And remember, do your research.